The three new Premier League clubs have been decided, and Leeds, Burnley and Sunderland all get promoted. And today we show you the three rebuilds we have done of these three fantastic clubs until they become Premier League winners on Football Manager. Now this is going to be done in order, so Leeds as champions will be first, Burnley will be second, and Sunderland as playoff winners will be in third. I will try to remember to put little bars down the bottom, so if you want to skip to a specific rebuild, you can do that. Or if you want to watch all three and how I rebuilt these three fantastic sides, get some popcorn and enjoy this little video of how we rebuilt the three newly promoted Premier League sides. Leeds United are back in the Premier League after their promotion from the Championship, but are they going to be able to survive the Premier League? Well, today in this Football Manager 2024 rebuild, we're not settling for safety, we're overhauling the squads, redefining the tactics and building a team that can go toe-to-toe with the very best of England. Because this isn't your average rebuild of a club to the top of England. Leeds United are on a story to get back to where they once were before financial crisis hit. So today we look to make Ellen Road that place of dreams once again. And here we are on a database where Leeds United are promoted to the Premier League, winning the Championship. Now I know this is slightly different to what has happened in real life, with Burnley going up with Leeds and either Sheffield United, Sunderland, Middlesbrough or Watford going to be in the playoffs. But in this simulation it is Leeds, Sheffield United and Sunderland going up. Luckily enough though, from the Premier League, it's quite obvious the relegated teams, Southampton, Ipswich and Leicester, are all down. So we are effectively going to have a fully up-to-date, realistic Premier League campaign for the 25-26 campaign, which is going to be absolutely amazing. A very quick mention of the Patreon if you want to get this starting save file. I'm going to put that in the Patreon with a bunch of other perks as well. They will go through at the end or at some point in this rebuild, but this is going to be one of them where it's going to be an up-to-date 25-26 game file. Now this is the Leeds United team that has been playing in real life. Ilham Meslier has actually been dropped recently in real life, and my first job as manager is going to be replacing Ilham Meslier. I think he's a goalkeeper which has been on the edge of potential for a long time and has now just made way too many mistakes. This guy, by the way, is fantastic on Football Manager, but I cannot see him taking Leeds into the Premier League next season, so Meslier will be going. In terms of the tactical style we are going to be using as well, it is also heavily rumoured that Daniel Farke will not be taking Leeds into the Premier League. It could potentially be someone like Jose Mourinho, which would be an unbelievable appointment, by the way, or some other experienced coaches. For the sake of this rebuild, I'm going to be using a system which I have tried to create that is like the Daniel Farke system, having Dan James the winger, Nonto as another inside forward, Joel Perreault, who has been one of the best strikers in the Championship this season, leading the line, Brendan Aronson in the cam role, a DM partnership of Gruev, and I've got Ampadu there. Obviously, Tanaka has also been unbelievable for Leeds as well. The Japanese midfielder that joined a couple of seasons ago, unbelievable on FM as well. It'll be interesting to see how we can use him in this save and who out of this team is going to be good enough for the Premier League, because one of my favourite players, and you can see behind me, I'm a Manchester United fan. I actually don't hate Leeds as much as a lot of people, but I love Dan James. I was on holiday in Croatia when Dan James scored that goal against Chelsea, and he cried, and it was all because of his dad passing away. I believe that was the story. And it was incredible. I felt a connection to him straight away. At United, I actually really liked him. He is scoring a bunch of goals, getting a bunch of assists, and I actually really like seeing him do really well. Obviously, he's gone to massive club rivals in Leeds United. At the end of it, I think both United and Leeds walked away from the deal with a big positive. United made a profit of a player, which is the first time in I can't even count how many seasons that's happened. And Leeds got an unbelievable winger who has been fantastic for them in the last season in the Championship. Now, obviously, when Leeds United last got promoted to the Premier League, he was loaned out to Fulham. It'll be interesting to see, now that he's had such a good season at Leeds in real life in the Championship, if he gets stayed around. I hope he does, because I'd love to see DJ back at the top of football once again. Willie Donto, a fantastic youngster. There was issues with him leaving the Premier League. He was wanting to leave Leeds. That seems to have been squashed. He looks fantastic, and I'm a big fan of keeping him on FM. Joel Perreault is someone that I'm not sure how we're going to get on with in this rebuild. His stats do not suit Football Manager. I'm going to attempt to use him for the first season of the Premier League and see how things go. And Brendan Aronson is another one which I actually didn't know, but has played, I think, every single game for Leeds this season. I believe it's 45 out of 45. I've been doing quite a lot of statistical insight into real life football in the last couple of days. Brendan Harrison's someone that crops up a lot for like pressures and etc. I don't know if I'm going to use him in this rebuild. I'm sorry, Leeds fan, if that is the case. Ethan Ampadu, I want to make a mainstay in the DM partnerships. Rodon and Struijk, I want to keep as a centre-backs for a long time. And Bogle, a very good right-back as well. I do think an improvement at left-back is needed. I think an improvement in Cam is needed. I think potentially a new DM and a new goalkeeper. But I don't want to completely rip this squad up, the team that's just got promoted, and change everything straight away. I want to do this rebuild correctly. I want to bring some players up through the youth academy. I want to try and use players like Darko Gyabi or Matteo Joseph throughout the rebuild as well. So, Leeds fans, I hope you're going to enjoy this. If you are Leeds fans watching this, get a nice little emoji down in the comments. What should you make it? Make it the white and blue circle in the comments down below. If you're a Leeds fan watching this video, see how many of you are out there. Comment down below a white and a blue circle to signify that you are listening and you are a Leeds fan. But let's get into the transfers for season 1. So I have mentioned I didn't want to go too mental on transfers, so we've made just 5 signings and sold a few players for some decent money. Rasmus Christensen has gone to Everton for 34 million, Jack Harrison to Al Nassr, Bamford to Celta Vigo, Isaac Schmidt to Ipswich, and Joshua Gilavogi to Nantes. We've also loaned out Meslier, Brendan Aronson, both leaving the club, both players that I just think we need to improve on. As much as Brendan Aronson has been really good in real life, I'm just going to look to go in a different direction. And for that cam roll, we have signed Moritz Kiergaard from RB Salzburg. I think this is a very Leeds-esque signing. There has been talk recently of Red Bull having a partnership, or I believe it is confirmed. It's on the front of the shirt, for Christ's sake. Red Bull are partnered with Leeds in some way, even if it's a sponsorship way. This guy plays for Red Bull Salzburg. He is a fantastic central attack midfielder. 6'4", loves the high press system, strong, good mental stats, good physical stats, could improve on finishing, but he is also able to play at striker. So I'm hoping that's something that's going to grow throughout this rebuild. Danish as well. I think he's going to really suit the Premier League and really suit this Leeds system. And his backup / rotation option is going to be Said Haksabanovic. Now, Said Haksabanovic was one of my mates who used to support West Ham, one of my old mates who supports West Ham, favourite players when he was at West Ham in 2020, was a youngster. He was like in love with Haksabanovic. You can see his career has not quite gone to plan. Loaned out to IFK Norrköping, ended up moving there for £2.2 million. Moved his way to Russia on a £5 million deal. Got loaned back to Sweden. Then moved to Celtic, and then has gone to Malmo, potential transfer. And now he's back in the Premier League at Leeds. £3.5 million is a really good piece of business for someone the game rates as a good Premier League player. I personally think he is of a very similar level to Brendan Aronson, and a lot cheaper. Brendan Aronson, I think, will be able to gain about £20 million for. This guy costs just 3.5. In the goalkeeping position, to replace Illan Meslier, I have signed Dane St. Clair, a Canadian goalkeeper signed from Minnesota. At 27 years of age, he has cost us £5.25 million and has just performed incredibly in the MLS on a 7.34 average rating after 40 appearances. And conceding 47 goals, he must be doing something right in the match engine. He's extremely consistent and loves big matches. He is 6'4", good area reach and jumping reach, great reflexes, decent playing out from the back as well, and is my choice to lead United into the Premier League. My next signing is from relegated Leicester and an absolute baller. Abdul Fatawu deserves to be in the Premier League, so I have brought him back into the Premier League. Now, this was not a cheap piece of business. £33 million coming in from Leicester, where he has been really good in real life. He's very quick, very direct, good dribbling, good pace, good determination. The story behind him is fantastic, coming from Ghana, eventually moving to Sporting, where he impressed, and then Leicester picked him up. I think in the Premier League, he is going to be really good. Obviously, I think he'll possibly get a move this summer away from Leicester back into the Premier League, and I can see him being at a club like Leeds. And I can say the exact same for Leif Davis as well. Now, he has been a little bit defensively worrying for Ipswich at times this season, but Leif Davis is a fantastic attacking fullback, and that is the system we are playing here at Leeds. Now, of course, he was on loan at Leeds. No, he was actually a permanent fixture at Leeds back in 2018 to 2022, where he was one of Leeds fans' favourite left-backs, eventually going to Ipswich for £1.3 million. And then then we've picked him up back for £20 million. This guy's got great stamina, great crossing, good corners, decent defensively on FM, As mentioned, slight worries about him in real life, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him get a move back into the Premier League at some point. And that is it in terms of our signings, and this is your Leeds team for the Premier League. St Clair in goal with Bogle and Davis as our two wing-backs, Rodon and Struijk at centre-back, Tanaka and Ampadu in DM, Fatawu, Nonto, Kiergaard and Pirro up front. For this first season, I really didn't want to change too much about the team, as Leeds have done fantastic to get promoted, and it would just be wrong for me to go out there and completely rip everything up. In terms of the backups, Carl Darlow, Sam Byram, Diego Monteiro and Maxi Verba, Junior Firpo, Darko Gyabi, Elia Gruev, Dan James, Haksabanovic, Laji Ramazani and Matteo Joseph make up the rotational players. And I actually have no idea where we are predicted to finish. It is in 18th. I kind of hoped that would be the case, in that we'd be better than Sheffield United and Sunderland. I think Leeds do have a better team than both of them. Debatable with Burnley. Obviously, of course, Burnley managed by Scott Parker as well, a really good coach. But this is where I pretty much would see Leeds finishing. I could also definitely see this, by the way. Forest, if they get Champions League or Europa League football, massively struggling next season. That is my hot take, purely because of the amount of games and the pressure that will go onto them. I think they'll really struggle. I do think they'll stay safe. I do think they'll struggle, though. I don't think we'll see back-to-back seasons. You've seen with a club like Villa, who in my opinion have got a much better squad, much better rotation, have really struggled going into the Champions League, going as far as they did, and are now just about getting back into that European competition. With a few games to go, they might just make it in. But there was a real point where Villa were down in mid-table and were struggling a lot. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with Forest next season. But that is the first transfer window done with Leeds United. The goal for this season is the opposite of what I said in the start. Simply about safety. From there, we can build a dynasty. Around 70% of you as well that are watching this video are not subscribed, so do your boy a massive favour, subscribe to the channel and help us get to 20k before FM26. Now I won't lie, this season was a lot more difficult than I potentially expected. There were some big defeats, including a 4-1 to Liverpool, a 3-1 to Brighton at Ellen Road, and a pretty demoralising 4-1 loss against West Ham. But it wasn't all bad, and in some games we used our pace on the counter-attack to really hurt sides, with Laji Ramazani grabbing goals, and of course Wilfred Gnonto as well, who throughout the season solidified himself as the Leeds number 9, which I did not expect at the start of this rebuild. He was our top goal scorer this season in the Premier League, scoring 10 goals, which probably shows you we are missing a bagsman. This guy is much more of an inside forward than an advanced forward up front, being the focal point of our team. So definitely next season, a striker is on the cards. In rebuilds, I never locked players into certain positions, and Joel Pirro sadly just didn't get played. He started just one game, got 12 off the bench, and wasn't good enough to play Premier League football, so someone that sadly will be moving on next season. However, looking at some of the signings we did make, they were massively impactful. Our third best player in the average rating charts was Abdul Fatawu, who scored 7 and got 9 assists. While Leif Davis ranked top of the charts at left back with 9 assists and 4 goals in 38 games and a 6.96 average rating. And thanks to wing backs flying forward and counter-attacking football, Leeds United were safe in the Premier League, but only just. We finished on 33 points, which is nowhere near good enough, and just 2 points away from relegation. And the actual relegation battle was so entertaining, as much as that's difficult. We finished on 33, Wolves on 32, Forest on 31, Sheffield United on 31, Everton on 30 and Sunderland on 29. Forest, as I sort of expected, have Champions League football, which really hurt them. You can see they started the season off really poorly, and then playing Champions League games just did not help. And they eventually got knocked out to Trabzonspor in the knockout playoff round, which is really poor. They just about survived and finished just lower down than us in the Premier League. In the FA Cup, we were knocked out in the 4th round by Swansea, which is frustrating. And the Carabao Cup, the 3rd round by Chelsea, also very frustrating. But they are competitions I want to win. And we've got time. I've got no time cap on this rebuild. I've got no restrictions or anything. We're having just a really fun one today, rebuilding Leeds United after promotion. If you want to see the Burnley video and whoever gets promoted from the playoffs, let me know in the comments down below and hype that up. Also, the relegated teams, rebuilding Ipswich after relegation, Leicester after relegation, and Southampton after relegation will all be coming. So let me know in the comments down below which one you want first. Now, we've touched on some of the star players this season, but there was also some players which didn't quite impress. Dane Sinclair, a 6.73. He didn't quite translate into Premier League football, sadly, which is a shame because he was outrageously good in the MLS. I thought he'd be able to come here and do really well. Based on his stats, I was confident, but sadly fell just short. I don't hate the signing still, £5 million. At least it got rid of Meslier. Jayden Bogle was decent at right back. Struijk and Joe Rodon. There is a conversation to be had here because they didn't perform well this season. But I'm going to give them both the benefit of the doubt. I really want to rebuild Leeds into Premier League winners using at least Pascal Struijk. I believe he is club captain in real life. I could be wrong there. Here it's listed as Maxi Voba, which I don't think is correct. I think Pascal Struijk is the captain, and I would like him to stay at the club until we win the Premier League and make that a reality. Leif Davis, really good. Ampadu, pretty good, considering someone that has had the chance in the Premier League before with Chelsea. I don't think he was at Leeds when Leeds were in the Premier League. Has had the chance with Chelsea and wasn't good enough. Now to do it this performance is really good. Tanaka was a good rotational DM and rotated with Ilya Gruev, who was certainly better. Abdul Fatawi, really good. Kiergaard was okay. I expected more. 6 goal contributions to 6.75. I expected a lot more. He has gone up in a lot of stats and improved finishing from 9 to 10. So hopefully it's just someone that's going to progress with this rebuild with us. Nonto, of course, was our main striker. And other than that, it was Largi Ramazani, who grabbed 10 goals from that left wing position. He's not someone we've touched on just yet in this rebuild. Because I kind of forgot about him. He is extremely quick, very good dribbling and crossing, very similar to the likes of Dan James. Now, I'm very aware of Largi Ramazani as a Manchester United fan, coming through the academy. Obviously left to Almira, and I kept really good track of him when he was at Almira. I don't know really how he's doing at Leeds, which is a bit of a shame for me, to be honest, because I really liked this guy. I used to pick him up and make him like an evolution player on FIFA at Almira because I really liked him as a youngster, and obviously electric speed as well. So really, really cool to see him doing well in real life. Dan James was the classic Dan James. 3 starts, 25 off the bench, 5 goals, performing really well. Exactly what we want him to do. DJ can stay in that position for me the whole rebuild. And Maxi Verba, as the club captain, was a decent player as well. But it's time to move on. It's time to go into season 2 and build us from that now safety to that second season syndrome. We need to stay clear of relegation. The board have given us £51 million to spend on doing it. And the good thing here at Leeds United is in terms of their debt, it is not like the old days. The debt is all gone, very minimal transfer debt, and the club is considered rich with £52 million in the bank. So let's see who we can bring in. So once again, there was some big sales this summer with £52 million raised on Aya Tanaka, Joel Pirro and Brendan Aronson, all leaving on a permanent basis. My initial goal this summer was to sign a superstar striker, and that's what we've done, signing Matteo Retegui. This is a guy that I would love my club Manchester United to sign. And again, I've been looking very much into analytical data in the last week or two. And this guy stands out so much in real life. At Atalanta, he has, I believe, 24 goals in 28 starts. He is the definition of a bagsman. He's 6'1". He's strong. He can finish. He's good in the air. Got great work rate. I think he'd be brilliant in the Premier League alone. Regardless of who he goes to, I want to see this guy in the Premier League, and I've made it happen here with Leeds United. He's consistent, he loves big matches, and luckily, he doesn't cost a lot, just £22 million. So welcome to the Premier League, my striker, Matteo Retegui. Next up was the rotational right-back signing of Joao Lucas. I didn't want to sign a superstar to overtake Jayden Bogle, as I wanted to give him the chance to be a proper Premier League footballer. So Joao Lucas came in for just £5 million from Gramau. We then went to PSG and signed their rotational goalkeeper Matvey Safonov. He is a Russian goalkeeper with 9 caps who looks brilliant. He is 6'4", good jumping reach, good area reach, extremely consistent, likes big matches, great reflexes and determination. And comparing him to Dane Sinclair, there is a clear upgrade in the goalkeeping department. Every single stat, other than aerially, he absolutely dominates, and he cost us just £3 million. And finally, I've gone big. Adam Wharton has come in from Crystal Palace. He was available for just £39 million after hardly playing for Palace over the last 2 seasons on FM. I have to stress, this is an on FM signing. Adam Wharton will probably end up going to Liverpool in the summer, let's be honest. He is incredible. Liverpool have just won the Premier League, which breaks my heart. And they will probably go out there and get the best young DM in the Premier League, as I think Adam Wharton is. In this universe, he's gone to Leeds United and he's going to partner Ethan Ampadu in that central defensive midfield role. And that is a brilliant defensive midfield partnership. Fatawu, Kiergaard and Nonto in behind Retegui, I think is electric. Speed on the wings, height in the middle, I love it. Our two wing backs as Bogle and Davis is strong, keeping the centre back partnership of Rodon and Struijk. And of course, brand new goalkeeper Safanov in goal to take us into season 2 in the Premier League. Now this is a difficult game for me to watch because I am a Manchester United fan in real life. But here on FM, I am the manager of Leeds United. And I have just orchestrated what will probably go down as one of the best days in Leeds United history. We went 1-0 with Kiergaard in 2 minutes against United before Ampadu scored in the 22nd minute. Just 2 minutes later, Nonto bears down on that shaky United defence and scores a screamer to make it 3-0 to Leeds in the first half. A defensive mistake from Leif Davis and then a random long ball and a mistake from Rodon finds Kasper Dolberg through one goal to score to make it 3-1. But Leeds scored once again. Also in the first half, Leif Davis finding that giant Kiergaard at the front post gets headed away to Wilfred Nonto to find Davis, who finishes into the back of the net to grab the 4th in just the first half. Now United were going to grab a second goal, but don't worry Leeds fans, there is more to come. Dalot scores to make it 4-2, but it is for Leeds to have the last laugh and many more laughs as well, as there is more goals in this game than just one. Nonto finds Leif Davis whipped in the back stick and Abdul Fatawu heads home for 5-2, and my striker Matteo Retegui, a ball in from Wharton, finds Greenwood to find Retegui for 6-2, and Leeds United have absolutely destroyed Manchester United. And the stats, they say the whole picture. We had 31 shots to United's 5, a 17 shots on target, a 3.54 XG, and we might have made an absolute beast of a team with just a handful of signings. And it wasn't our only big win this season. We really found our scoring boots. A 6-0 against Burnley. And we also beat Liverpool 4-2 at Ellen Road in the 4th round of the Carabao Cup. And it could have been 5 if Retegui didn't miss his penalty. Now sadly, United did get their payback in the Carabao Cup quarterfinals as they beat us 2-0 and we went crashing out. And Wolves beat us in the 5th round of the FA Cup. So our only chance to win a trophy was the Premier League. And of course we've not done that, but we have done fantastically well, as Leeds United are 5th place in the Premier League, miles off the top 4, but in the top 5 and securing Champions League football for season number 3. I did not expect to have this bounce this quickly. Leeds as a Champions League side. Liverpool won the title once again. Arsenal and City joined on 77, Spurs on 75, and 13 points back was Leeds United. But my God, have we had a fantastic season, especially Leif Davis. 2nd in the average ratings charts and top of the assists with 17 in the Premier League alone. He grabbed 2 goals as well and has on a 7.25 average rating. He's now England's left back, and what a signing this would be for Leeds in real life. I can't believe we've done this well in the league this season. We scored the 3rd most goals on 73. We didn't concede the least. We don't keep on at the ball, but my God, do we have shots and do we score goals? And you can see that when looking through the goals in the team as well. Retegui scored 17 with 3 assists, Nonto 15 and 4 assists, Ramazani 12 and 5, and Kiergaard, it was just a one-season dip. 11 goals, 7 assists. At 22 years of age, he is progressing into a superstar worth £92 million. Fatawu grabbed 8 and 9, showing again to be a fantastic signing, and we were right to believe in Pascal Struijk. A 6.99 average rating with 7 goals from centre-back is fantastic. Ampadu grabbed 3 goals. Wharton was great this season, but our star man, Leif Davis. I mean, we can't look anywhere else other than Leif Davis. What a legend. João Lucas was 3rd after a great rotational season at right back. And yeah, that is pretty much everything. I am very happy with how this rebuild is going. We are a Champions League side. I didn't expect this to happen so quickly. It is the end of season number 2. And Leeds United are Champions League. I mean, financially, they've given us another £51 million, which is absolutely brilliant. I don't know what to do to this team. I don't want to change too much. I love our front 4. Retegui, Nonto, Fatawu and Kiergaard. That's incredible. Ampadu and Wharton, incredible. Davis, I love at left back. We could potentially try and find a right back to do the same role in there. As centre back, Struijk is fantastic. Potentially finding someone to replace Joe Rodon. And in goal, well, Safanov has just had a pretty decent season. A 6.87 in 31 games isn't bad at all. And will probably stay as our starting goalkeeper. So maybe just improving the rotation options a little bit will go a long way. Now this save file and the starting save file is going to be available on the Patreon linked at the top of the description, as is this tactic that we have built for Leeds United. So Leeds fans, if you are wanting to play the Leeds United way and do a Leeds United rebuild as they are in the Premier League or pick up as Premier League champions, that'll all be available on the Patreon link down below, and it helps support me out massively and my dreams of making this YouTube journey a full-time gig. Now we touched on the fact that we needed to replace Joe Rodon, and that was our first piece of business this summer as we signed Aruna Sanganate. He is a fantastically tall, quick and strong centre-back. He is 6'2", great marking, great speed, good determination, great consistency, and we've signed him from Rennes as they picked him up from Havre AC in the top tier of France, moved to Rennes for £9.5 million. After playing just 18 games, we've had to pay 37, but we have got one of the best young centre-backs on FM. We then signed a backup goalkeeper in James Beadle from Brighton for £1 million and loaned in a backup left-back in Ishe Samuel Smith from Brentford. Just a couple of signings to help out with our registration rules, given we are now in European football. And then we looked at high potential, high upside signings. Number one was Finn Jelch, signed from Stuttgart for £3.5 million. Now this guy is 6'2", he is German, and he is 19. He can play in DM or in centre-back. I personally think as a DM he is better due to his outrageously high mental stats at such a young age, while being great defensively and unbelievable on the ball and having this speed. This guy cutting about in the DM position would be fantastic. He has elite consistency and, as mentioned, has cost us just £3.5 million. And my second potential signing is Paul Vanna, a £4.5 million deal coming in from Bayern Munich. He simply has not had the game time at the real Bayern Munich team, but when he's played for the second side has been incredible. And that is the future potential we are signing. £4.1 million to back up Matthias Kjærgaard, who is 6'4", Paul Vanna 6'1". Very similar prototypes of players, and it's going to be a great rotation option in that cam role. As you can see, we really haven't changed the team too much. I think the only starting position that's changed is that Joe Rodon is now a rotation option, and Struijk and Sanganate are our two centre-backs. Beadle, Lucas, Rodon, Voba, Samuel Smith, Jelch, Gruev, Dan James, Paul Vanna, Ramazani and Mateo Joseph make up the rotational players for this incredibly strong Leeds squad. Now, similarly to when Forest were in Champions League football in that first season, the media predict us to fall off drastically with Champions League football, being down in 13th place. What I will say is it is very rare for a team of this level to not be at 18th, 19th and 20th in a Kempi rebuild. Normally, we are signing young moneyball players that are not good enough for the Premier League just yet. That is something we have not done in this rebuild. We have signed superstars that I actually think would do a really good job in the Premier League. So a very different style of rebuild for me. And I've done a run recently with Sunderland, which was also just as fun as this. And of course, this year we're in the Champions League, which is not going to be easy to win. I don't know if we'll do that season one. We'll have to see. FA Cup and Carabao Cup as well. And of course, financially, being in the Champions League will do wonders for us because we are spending all of our budget when we get it. We are using a little bit of debt to get this club to be at a top tier level. But Champions League football, well, that'll make a massive difference. So let's see how we do this season. And you know what? I'll take that. In 21st place, we have actually got out of the league phase of the Champions League, which, considering 3 years ago we were in the Championship, that is not bad going at all. 10 points, 3 wins against Leverkusen, Midtjylland and Fiorentina, and 4 losses against Napoli, Salzburg, Barcelona and Real Madrid. Kind of losses that are expected. But sadly, the knockout playoff rounds is where our Champions League run ended, losing to Napoli 4-2 on aggregate, but giving it a very good go, and even seeing a striker like Mateo Joseph start in a Champions League game just shows how far we've come. And we also nearly got to the final of the Carabao Cup as well, but lost to Brighton on penalties, and I'm very confident we would have won this, as it was Brentford in the final. who eventually went on to be Carabao Cup champions. So sadly, no trophies for us this year. And no Champions League football for us next season either, as we finish in 9th place, which I really don't hate. I think we got into the Champions League a bit too early and potentially European football a bit too early. This would have been my ideal finishing position last season, purely based on the fact that we need to build this squad. We've been signing a lot of young players that need to get progressed. And doing a season like this, finishing in 9th, is going to certainly help us get to that. I think the next time we are in Champions League football, we'll be able to then stay in the top 4. So we have a much more well-rounded squad. Matteo Retegui was outrageous this year. 33 goals overall and 1 assist. I am worried though. He is wanted by Al Ahly in Saudi Arabia. And as he's played so well for us, I worry about how we're going to replace our bagsman of a striker if he goes off to Saudi, which if they offer, I'm sure he will go. He has also got a release clause of £56 million. And yeah, because he's got interest from Saudi, he doesn't want to stay and he won't accept a new contract. So the £56 million deal comes in, Retegui's off and we're going to have to replace him. And looking at the goal scoring, he is it. No one else scored more than 10 goals. It is Retegui or bust at this point in this season, so replacing him will be fun. Leif Davis, another outrageous season, and the same goes for Bogle. Struik and Sangate, decent centre-back. Stefanov potentially needing upgrading in goal this season. The DM partnership of Ampadu and Wharton is coming on leaps and bounds, both performing very well. Vatawu, I'm a big fan of still. Kiergaard, the same. Nonto, a slow season, which is surprising. I didn't expect to see that. Now, Paul Vanna did play a bunch of games, as did the dangerous man, DJ. Maybe showing Nonto is not quite going to reach that potential. We'll have to see about that. He's someone that I would like to make a Leeds legend, but maybe it's not going to be possible. We'll have to see how things go, because he's certainly had a drop off this season. Played just 12 games starting in the league this year. Got 10 goal contributions overall out of 18 starts, which is really good. But if he's not at a good enough level, we are going to have to move on. Now, as mentioned, the financial implications of having a year in Champions League football is astronomical for a club. So we are now up to £127 million and have £66 million to spend on making us that Champions League club once again. But our main issue was replacing star striker Matteo Retegui, who did leave to Al Ahly for £56 million and is now earning 600k a week. Fair play, Matteo. I've done my job of making you a Premier League player. We also moved on from the Matvei Safonov experiment, selling him for £11 million back to France. Which meant a new goalkeeper was in order, so we signed James Trafford, one of the best young goalkeepers in real life, and is now the England #1 here on FM, coming in from Burnley for £38 million. We then made a pretty unreal piece of business, bringing in Mateo Kovacic on a free agent contract to be a rotational DM for us. I love this piece of business. He has got, at this point, 9 years of Premier League experience and has won a handful of Premier League titles. If anyone's going to give us that experience in DM, it is going to be Kovacic. And then we moved on to another fantastic free agent piece of business, Tomas Suslov. I mean, this is unbelievable. He has been released from Hellas Verona, where he has had a pretty ridiculous couple of seasons. Just didn't want to sign a brand new contract, and we will take that. Great dribbling, aggression and vision, very quick, 5'9", consistent, and a Slovakian international at 25 years of age. Our next signing was rotational right back Elijah Dijkstra, signed to be a rotation and a youngster. And the same goes for Adam Asnu on the left back side, a signing from Bayern Munich. And finally, the striker to replace Matteo Retegui is Jovan Zivkovic, a 21-year-old Austrian striker signed from SK Rapid. Now, this guy is more of the meta build. 5'9", 17 pace, 16 finishing, 15 determination. This guy could go on to break the game. His value was now £93 million and he cost us just 31 after scoring 10 goals in 18 starts last season. I do think we have potentially got the potential future best striker in the world on FM, which is fantastic. And this is the Leeds team for this season. Trafford in goal, Bogle, Struijk, Snanganate and Davis as the back four, Wharton and Ampadu in front, Vatawu, Suslov, Kiergaard and Zivkovic up front. Nonto does move to a bench position, same with Vanna, James, Josef, Kovacic, Yelch, Asnu, Voba, Rodon, Dijkstra and James Beadle. I think the squad is so much better than the season we got to the Champions League in, so I'll be very surprised if we don't do that this season, or at least better our 62 points tally we got that year, as I think the squad is just so much stronger. And of course, it'll be nice to win one of these free competitions as well. So I was very disappointed when we finished down in 7th place and our superstar new striker, Jovan Zivkovic, scored just 11 goals, which blows my mind. The only thing I can think of is he's inconsistent and doesn't like big matches. And that's a real shame, because this guy has all the stats to be the striker to take Leeds to glory. Now, don't get me wrong, we have finished on 59 points, which is only 3 less than that Champions League campaign, but we have spent about 150 million since then, and I think our actual squad and team is so much better, but somehow we've gone backwards, which makes zero sense whatsoever. Now, next year, luckily enough, we are in Europa League football, but we still haven't won the FA Cup, Carabao Cup, or any trophy whatsoever other than the Championship, which wasn't even me. So we need to end that trophy drought at some point. And I think we might need to start another striker, because Zivkovic I don't think is that guy. And in fact, I'm not sure who is the guy. We don't have a goal scorer in this team. Nonto with 9, Vanna with 7, Kiergaard with 7, and then Maxi Voba as a 30-year-old centre-back with 6. Suslov's done well as a free agent signing, and Vatawu was sort of dropped off with just 4 goals in 12 starts. So we've gone from being a Champions League club to me being in complete and utter crisis in the span of one season. And that's when we finished Europa League football. I just think I'm maybe not as far along in this rebuild as I thought I was. I thought this starting 11 was good enough to win the Premier League, but it's clearly not. So what do you do at that point? You signed the FM golden child. Benjamin Sesko joins Leeds United. And no, I've not gone mad. £25 million is all I've spent because he's become a rotational player at Leipzig, which is so strange because this guy has potential in real life to go on to Arsenal, Manchester United, some of the biggest clubs in the world this summer. And FM rates him so highly, and I am sure he is about to become the top goal scorer in the Premier League over the next season, 2 seasons, 3 seasons, however long it takes us to become Premier League winners. And if he's not going to score us goals, well, how about a previous FM golden child in Ansu Fati? Now, this guy had a loan spell at Brighton in real life and struggled to impress. On FM, he has gone back to Barcelona and struggled to impress. So £13.75 million seems like a ridiculous bargain for a player of this quality. And my job is to revive Ansu Fati's career here at Leeds. After that, we looked into the Championship and found the best young right back in Milan van Elwick, who can get forward and whip a ball in at a very similar level to Leif Davis. And then it was time to use our hidden regen scouting methods to find Adi El Sad from Fluminense for £10 million, already valued at 75. Kosivi Adri coming in from Hoffenheim for £4.1 million as a Tongolese central defensive midfielder who looks brilliant, and Vinicio Gonzalez coming in from Costa Rican side Cartagenes for just 500k, and despite him saying he's really bad, I believe this guy is an absolute bargain and already worth around £11 million. So stuff it, FM. I think I've made a great signing, and I think I've built a fantastic side. If this doesn't win the Premier League in the next 3 seasons, I will eat my hat, because this team is everything I know that's meta about FM. A 6'4" quick striker, a 4-2-3-1 with pacey wide players, wing backs on attack who love to get the ball into the box, and a strong core of DMs and centre backs. The team is fantastic, and I'll be surprised if we don't come close to winning the league this season. I know I said that last year when we finished in 9th. This year, I think we're going to do much better. We are in Europa League football, which I would expect to win the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup as well. Our trophies I want to get ticked off this season. So next year, we can full send that Premier League title. Now, to kick things off, yes, we have done well this season. 67 points is our best points tally by 5. and I am very proud of what we have done. We are just a point behind Arsenal and a point behind United in the top 3, 5 points away from City and only 12 away from the Premier League title, which really isn't that much considering where we've come from. Because Leeds United are not only FA Cup winners after beating Manchester United in the final based on an Ansu Fati penalty, we are also Europa League winners and in dominating fashion. We were by far the strongest side throughout this entire season. Suslov finding an outrageous ball to find Ansu Fati to make it 1-0 early on, before Fati found Asnu to find Fati once again to score a second. This guy, remember, cost us just £13.75 million and looks like the signing of the rebuild so far. Asnu down the left-hand side finds Zivkovic in the middle, who maybe has found his role as a rotational striker to score a third, and Zhelch in the 75 minutes drives into the box, finds Fatawu to find Kiergaard, for Ampadu to score the cherry on top in the Leeds United Europa League campaign, which wins them the second trophy of the season, and which is by far our best campaign yet. We even got to the quarterfinals of the Carabao Cup, but lost to Liverpool. So I think that is a hugely successful campaign, and as you can see based on the league positions, we grew into it. We grew into being one of the best squads in the Premier League, and you can see that on the goals scored here as well. Sesko and Kiergaard, yes, 23 goals apiece, and Moritz Kiergaard has just shown the world who he is. This season is unlike anything he's had so far in the rebuild. He seems to have just had a light bulb switch and tripled his goal scoring output like that. I don't understand it. I've not changed the system. He's just done it, and I absolutely love it. Sesko up front, 23 goals in 26 starts is brilliant, and having a rotational striker score 9 goals in just 10 starts is exactly what we were looking for. Ansu Fati grabbed 24 goal contributions in his first season, and Batawu 21. We have got players scoring goals and assisting goals everywhere. Suslov and Nonso also both getting a 17 and 21 respectively, and our wing-backs, Leeds Davis has grabbed 15, Asnu in just 19 starts has grabbed 14, and Milan Van Evcik has grabbed 12 from the right-back position. So this squad has just come on leaps and bounds. I have gone from Premier League winners to crisis to believing we have built a Premier League squad winning once again. And it has all happened in the space of 18 months. The beauty of FM, hey? I simply think Kiergaard is the reason. And I don't know what's happened to him. I haven't changed his role. I haven't bugged him out. He has just gone on a world record run and had an unbelievable season, which is beautiful to see. Maybe having the big striker up front has allowed the big Cam to be at more space as he's more out there. I don't know, but it's absolutely fantastic to see. James Trafford is progressing into being a fantastic keeper, and Struijk and Sanganate are building up a nice little partnership, despite apparently not liking each other, which isn't ideal. That's not really what you want from your centre-back partnership. Leeds Davis is the best left-back in the game. He has only got 1 cap for England, which I don't get, because 20 goal contributions. Who is the England manager? What are you doing? I bet it's someone stupid. Stefano Pioli. What are you doing? What system do you play, Pioli? Colville. An inverted fullback. It kind of makes sense, I suppose, doesn't it? Rashford back in the England team. Oh, God. It's all gone Pete Tong for England. So I bet they haven't won anything yet, have they? If I click this button and they've won something. No, look. Quarterfinal by Netherlands. It says it all. 2026, round of 16 by France. England are never winning anything because they're not using James Trafford in goal and Leeds Davis at left back. And that is their problem. That is their only problem as well. Now, next season, our goal is to win the Premier League. That has to be it. We are 12 points away. Our team is a young, fit, inspiring side. If we count this team by age, we have a bunch of under 25s who are in the first team and rotation options. And from 25 to 29 is our real age profile of the squad. We have probably got 3 seasons to win this Premier League title, and I think there is a good chance that we can do that just next season. And I tell you what, you can't convince me I'm not a transfer guru. Jared Bowen has now joined Leeds United at 32 years of age. He has come to a club to win his Premier League campaign. He's cost me 20 million quid. I don't know why he performed really badly throughout this rebuild, to be honest. A 6.87 was his best. He was transfer listed by request at £20 million. And he looks unbelievable. And I have no doubt whatsoever that Jared Bowen is going to score more than 15 goals in the next season. We then signed young right-back Stefan Witkowski to be one for the future, and Thomas Freitas from AEK to be the exact same, of course, for you lads that are picking this up on Patreon. And our final signing was rotational DM Ibrahima Bamba, 13.5 million from Al Dawali in Qatar, is an absolute steal because this guy's stats are outrageous. Mentally incredible, physically incredible, not great on the ball. Don't worry, he's going to run around and hit people. And that's what you need from a fourth choice defensive midfielder. Because let's be honest, Wharton and Ampadu are fantastic. Defensively, Van Evjik, Davis, Sangarate, Strike, brilliant. Trafford in goal, brilliant. Bowen, Kiergaard, Fatty and Sesko up front. That's incredible. Rotational-wise, Zivkovic, Nonto, Suslov and Fatawu is incredible. I mean, I would happily have them four as the front four. Bamba and Yelch as the two DMs, brilliant. Asnu, Vretos, Sad, Witkowski and Beadle, brilliant. I think we have built one of my favourite teams we've ever done on FM. As I said in the Sunderland rebuild, I don't often just go and sign the best wonder kids on the game. I think because you do that at the start of FM, which I've done a lot, and then I've done loads of rebuilds where Moneyball or youth only or under 18s, hidden regens, coming back to just going out there and signing the hottest wonder kids in the game is so enjoyable. And we have had a great time with it. And I think this season, we could potentially win everything on this list with Leeds, with that team, with a 4-2-3-1 system. Let's see if we can make it happen. And if you're going to win the Premier League, you need to start the season hot. So drawing to Newcastle, beating Burnley and drawing to Arsenal isn't amazing, but it's not bad. We then beat Bournemouth, lost to United, and then beat Chelsea, and went on a great run of 9 games unbeaten against Liverpool, Villa, Palace, Sunderland, Ipswich, Spurs, Southampton, and even beat Manchester City before losing to Brighton. We beat Everton and then lost to Forest. And it was just one of them seasons where I didn't think we were going to be consistent enough to win the Premier League. And to be honest, that didn't exactly go away for the second half of the Premier League either. Our January was unbeaten, which is great. And then in February, we lost 4-0 to Chelsea and lost to Arsenal, but had some big victories against against Manchester United and Liverpool. We went unbeaten in March, and it was all starting to come together. And in April, we drew to Spurs and lost to City, and that feels like a massive defeat. We did win our final 5 games against Brighton, Everton, Forest, Leicester and Wolves, but was it going to be enough? But I can't show you that just yet, can I? Because that would be spoiling everything. First of all, our worst sort of retention of the FA Cup ever. 3rd rounded by Spurs. I mean, that is awful. And we've also sadly lost in the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup as well. So we don't win that either. But in the Champions League, we were a different beast. We were able to dissect teams like it was nobody's business. We actually managed to somehow finish top of the league phase with 21 points out of a possible 23, if my maths served me correctly, which I don't think they have. 24. We did lose a singular game. We were just insane. I mean, this game here is against Marseille, a pretty strong side in France, and we're falling up already. I have got this on sped up highlights because we were just that good. Fatawu made it 5, and it was our rotation in the attacking areas which made us so strong. Kiergaard finding Nonto to find Sesko to grab a 6th in this game, and we are going to grab a 7th as well. Embarrassing the French giants on the European stage is just absolutely fantastic. But we've done all of that to lose the run of 16 to Atletico Madrid. So, yeah. That's a bit of a shame, isn't it? Because as mentioned, we dominated the league phase. We come top on 21 points, a 22 goal difference, beating Real Madrid 4-2, Freiburg 6-0, Marseille 7-0, Blue Neri, Inter Milan 4-1, and then we face Atletico Madrid and lose 4-3 on aggregate. We lost 4-2 in the first leg. They got all the way to the, round of 16? Don't tell me they lost in the quarterfinals. Please, that would be so... Oh, they did to Napoli as well. And then Napoli, I guess, lost to Real Madrid. Yep. And then United beat Real Madrid. This is a Leeds rebuild. So, boo, Manchester United. But yes, to Leeds United, as I kept you on a teaser, and Leeds have won the Premier League here in season number 6 on 82 points. It is not a Centurion season. It is not 95 points. It is 82. It isn't a great campaign, but it's Premier League winning. and Leeds are the champions of England once again. We are just 2 goals behind the most goals scored and doing really well defensively as well, joint in 2nd position. This season, we didn't score as many goals as last year. Kiergaard grabbed 15, Sesko 17, Nonto 15, Fatty 12, Fatawu 11, Bowen 10. Not quite the 15 I thought he was going to get. But overall, we just played so much better as a team. Sesko, Fatawu, Kiergaard, Leif Davis, Ibrahim Abamba, Asnu and Nonto all getting over a 7 average rating. And Ethan Ampadu and Pascal Stroik with Leeds from the start, taking them to Premier League winners. 2 players that I genuinely believe in real life are at a good enough quality of doing that. And the same goes for Wilfred Nonto, who in this season went from playing 12 games last season to 38 and scoring 15 goals. The beauty of FM, everyone, and that is the Leeds United rebuild after promotion rebuild. The next time we see a Leeds rebuild will be FM 26. And what an exciting time will that be. So make sure you subscribe to the channel to get ready for that one. Thank you so much for watching the video. Make sure you like the video. And remember, Leeds fans, get that blue and white circle in the comments down below. And I'll speak to you guys next time. Burnley are back in the Championship after recent relegation from the Premier League, and it looks like they could very well be going straight back up to the Premier League and becoming a bit of a modern day yo-yo club. But I want to change that all, but not in the traditional way of just signing players and winning the league in 5 seasons. I want to add a twist onto this rebuild, which is why we have used a mystery wheel, which has given us Scandinavia as the only region we can make signings from. Which means this current Burnley team is going to look very different by the end of this rebuild, because our scouting, we can only sign Danish, Swedish or Norwegian players. I have used Google to find the traditional Scandinavian countries, and that is what it's given me. Sorry Finland, you weren't included, even though I thought you were. We've also set up scouting to go to them leagues and find us under 21 players and Scandinavian players that are good for right now. And we've actually been a tactic which I see as being a bit of a Scandinavian tactic. We're being attacking, we're being aggressive, and we're using a very high pressing 4-2-4 system, because that's how I imagine the Vikings would have played football back in the day. And if you've got any ideas for regions or countries we can do rebuilds with in the future, so I can put them on the mystery reel, get them down in the comments down below, and I will get your comment on the mystery reel for the next one we do of these. Now, in terms of our first season, of course, we absolutely dominated. It's no surprise Burnley got 106 points, so I'm not counting this as one of the 5 seasons, because this Burnley team is an absolute joke. And the tactic we built was actually very, very good. In terms of goals, it was mainly carried by Lyle Foster. He grabbed 20 and got 3 assists. Jadon Anthony was great, but he's only on loan and he's not Scandinavian, so his 15 goals are going to have to be replaced next season. Jay Rodriguez's contract is ending and he just grabbed 15 goals. Cody Osho is someone that I am very excited to use. He has 12 goals, 7 assists. He is American, but he is here at the club and someone we are able to use for this rebuild. Michael Benson's here as well with 23 goal contributions. Someone like Jeremy Sarmiento with his 16 goal contributions will not be able to come back into the club as he is not Scandinavian. And in terms of being Scandinavian, we need to get this scouting centre set up, because we now have £44 million in transfer budget and over £67 million in the overall balance as well. The club here at Burnley is built pretty damn good. Great training facilities, good youth facilities, and just a 2-star youth crewman, which isn't great. But obviously the club has come a long old way. They were in the Premier League for 5 or 6 seasons in a row and actually won the first division back in 1960 and in 1921. So a club with a rich history that we're going to see how big we can make them. We are setting a 5-year cap to this rebuild. I don't know how many trophies we're going to win. Obviously, only signing Scandinavia players makes it difficult. So get your comments in down below how many trophies we're going to win in the next 5 seasons. But it is time to get into them signings. And our first one is Philip Bundegaard coming in from Brøndby, a Danish striker who is 20 years of age with elite potential, great consistency, and a natural eye for goal. Signing 2 is right back Niklas Vesterlund. I say right back, he can also play left back and centre back. A real player we need in this team. The versatility to play across the back line is going to be huge. He's great on both feet and he's consistent. Signed from FC Utrecht, seems like a bargain. Noah Sasa is up next, signed from FC Copenhagen for £2.5 million. A signing, hopefully, for the future that we will see grow into a superstar player. He is just 19 years of age. He he is up for loan and he is wanted by a bunch of championship clubs, which will be fantastic for his development. He's got great determination, great physical stats, and decent technical stats as well. At just 19 years of age, I'm sure he can grow into a star. But signing a winger for now was also necessary, so we signed Taha Ali, our first Swedish man of the rebuild, with 17 acceleration and 18 flair, also with 16 dribbling. We seem to have found ourselves the Swedish Neymar. Before finding the Danish bagsman Michael Kaufmann, signed from Heidenheim. He is 6'3". He's consistent. He likes big matches. He has great determination, great work rate. So for a pressing forward role, he'll be fantastic, and has got great speed and finishing ability as well. And another bargain signing of just £3 million. Marius Broheim is a young central defensive midfielder brought in for the future from Rosenborg. David Voller Wolfe is a left back we have signed from AZ Alkmaar. The Norwegian is the best young Norwegian left back we could find, or the best young Scandinavian left back we could find. And I think for the next 5 years, we have got that position absolutely covered. Before our final big money signing, it is Brentford's captain Christian Norgard coming in to Burnley. It didn't feel right doing a Burnley rebuild without going to Brentford and signing one of their best players, a midfielder with 150 games of potential in the English divisions. He is now 30 years of age with extreme consistency, a love for big matches, great stamina, great work rate, and brings in that true Scandinavian spirit into the centre of midfield. And our team already looks very, very different. We do, of course, have a superstar in goal with James Trafford. Connor Roberts, the Welshman, is our right back, with Moller Wolf at left back. And at centre back, we are actually blessed as well to have Maxime Esteve and Jordan Bayer in DM. In centre back, sorry. But moving on to DM, we have Josh Brownhill and Christian Norgard, a very good dynamic duo in DM, with Cody Osho and Taha Ali as our two wingers. Bundegaard coming into that pressing forward role, and of course last season's 20+ goal scorer Lyle Foster goes in up front. And interestingly enough, we're not actually predicted to get relegated. We are predicted to finish in 15th place, which, given we have just signed Scandinavian only players, we might have found a meta. This could be the new meta of Football Manager. Scandinavian only predicts us to finish 300 to 1 in 15th place. You never know what could happen. Well, we are going to play some lovely, fast, free-flowing football is exactly what is going to happen in this first season in the Premier League. We haven't decided to sit back. We have kept to our Scandinavian ways, and our Scandinavian lads are scoring a sincere amount of goals, including Josh Brownhill also getting the score sheet with a ridiculous free kick, and we grabbed a fourth here in a 4-1 victory over Nottingham Forest as Wollerwolf whips it in and Big Kaufmann heads home. We also ended up doing the double over Manchester United and Chelsea as we beat both teams 2-1 in both occasions, showing this Burnley team had some real fight and could take it to the big boys, and it led us all the way to 11th place in the Premier League this year, which is a very respectable finish. 14 wins, 9 draws, 15 losses, a -2 goal difference, but 51 points on the board for the first official season in this rebuild using this Burnley team is extremely, extremely impressive. In terms of goals, again, it was that man Lyle Foster, 20 goals and 3 assists, and he is someone that I have never used on FM before, but this maybe might change my mind, especially for the rest of FM24 and potentially for FM25, because he is an absolute bagsman. Bundegaard was great in his first season in the Premier League as well, grabbing 21 goal contributions, as was Michael Kaufmann, who grabbed 8 goal contributions, Hannibal Medbury, who came back from loan and grabbed 14 goal contributions, and of course Luka Koleosho, who I mentioned I was very excited to use, and for good reason. This season in the Premier League, 23 goal contributions at just 20 years of age, with a value of £64 million, which is outrageously good. Nicholas Vesterland was great with 5 assists. James Trafford is a fantastic goalkeeper who we are blessed to have at the club. 6.95 average rating is brilliant to see. Michael Kaufmann was good. Marius Broheim played a few games and he was decent as well. Taha Ali was maybe not quite what we expected. He grabbed 3 goals in 3 starts and 21 off the bench. And Christian Norgard as well, also maybe That's something that was needed to bring some experience into the side, but not exactly smashing it this season, which is fine, but is what it is. In terms of our transfer budget, we have £52 million to spend, and of course, another whole bunch of players to go and scout now through the Scandinavian leagues and being born in either Denmark, Sweden, or Norway. So in my eyes, it was wonder kid time. Antonio Nusa is our next signing, brought in from RB Leipzig. The Norwegian absolutely smashed it at Club Brugge a couple of seasons ago now in this rebuild. He now has 10 caps for Norway, a 2-star current ability, which is extremely low looking at his stats, and a 5-star potential with good consistency. Let's see if we can get the best out of Antonio. And of course, we've also signed Moritz Kjærgaard as well from Red Bull Salzburg. The Danish striker / cam comes in and gives us a predicament in our tactic, which we will go over this season and next season to see where it's been best to fit him into. He is great on both feet. He can also play out wide and is a bargain signing of just 15 million. We didn't stop there though. We signed the #1 wonder kid from Scandinavia, Sverre Holsef Nypan from Rosenborg, and we are developing him into a central defensive midfielder, something that's not often done with Nypan, but as a sort of a volante in DM, he can be outrageously good, and being just 18 years of age, we have got all the time to improve him. Emil Breivik was a slightly older central defensive midfielder brought in. He was 25 and cost us £5 million from Molde. Thomas Jorgensen is a fantastic young left winger we've brought in and loaned straight back out to his parent club Viborg. And our final signing is Norwegian centre-back Andreas Honsche Olsen, signed from Wolfsburg after moving from Mainz. He has got great determination, great aggression and great defensive stats, while again being incredibly consistent and loving big matches. It seems to be a bit of a Scandinavian theme that all these players are fearless and extremely consistent, which we love to see. Now looking at our 4-2-4 system, we have changed it again ever so slightly, so we have now got Kjærgaard and Bundgaard up front with Nusa, Koleoshu, Brownhill, Norgard, Roberts, Bayer, Honsche Olsen, Mollevolf and Trafford in goal. And you're all wondering, where's that man Lyle Foster? Well, he is out of the door. He went to Al Ittihad and is now earning £800,000 a week. Yeah, I couldn't really turn that down. We got £40 million for him as well, and we were able to bring in Kjærgaard, and we now have more of a Scandinavian team, which is exciting. And for Lyle Foster, he's gone to earn that bread. And well, this year, I really want to see if we can tick off our first trophy in the Premier League era, either winning the FA Cup or the Carabao Cup, so let's see what we can do. Or were we going to come under some second season syndrome, as we have pretty shocking form to finish off this year? But to be honest, our first half season form was more than good enough to keep us up. Even if it is a drop in our points tally this season, we stay in 11th place, but things have definitely got worse. We are now on a negative 15 goal difference, which is 13 more than last season. Only 13 wins, 7 draws, 18 draws, amounting to 46 points, so only 12 points above safety and a whole host away from European football, which is not ideal. I don't think the formation is quite working now that Kjærgaard is in. I think we relied a lot on the pace of Lyle Foster, which we maybe have lost a little bit. Because while Bundgaard did score 18 goals, Kjærgaard grabbed just 11, and our front two certainly fell off just a tad. Michael Kaufman definitely was better as a backup striker this year, grabbing 10 goals, and for a bargain of £3 million as someone you guys really need to be looking into for the end of this FM24 era. Josh Brownhill and DM impressing as ever. Norgard again with another decent-ish season, and to be honest, Koleosho dropping off a lot this season with just a 6.62 and 9 goal contributions is certainly something we need to attempt to fix. Nypan has been decent this season. We are trading him to play more in that DM role. He doesn't really have a chance in this system currently to play all of the games, so just starting 5 and 30 for the bench is decent. It didn't exactly impress, having a 6.56 when he did play, but he is our #1 player we are looking to develop into an absolute world beater. And while spending all that money really did hurt our financial situation, we now have just £51 million in the bank and 40 to spend in transfer budget, but pretty much no money in the wage budget, and now starting to get a little bit of debt on the club and transfer debt. So we need to be a bit cleverer in terms of our signings and making sure that we are building for the future, but also looking to try and actually take Burnley to the next level. So for season 4, that's what we've done. We've invested into the future and trying to make this team younger, stronger, faster and better. Our first signing, Chidozie Obi from Manchester United. Now, I don't know if within these 5 seasons, Chido Obi Martin is going to be the striker we all want him to be. I really hope so, but it seems like in the version of FM that we've loaded up this time, he's not quite progressing at the rate we hoped, and at 18 years of age isn't quite killing it. I have seen this guy turn into an absolute beast. So a little bit of a shame, but someone we've signed, so hopefully in the future he can be a big player for us. Now obviously as well, these save files are available on the Patreon, which is linked in down below, where you can download all the tactics and rebuild files that we make here on the channel. So make sure to head down there for £5 a month and help support out your boy. Our second signing is a backup central attacking midfielder, because we have changed system this season and we have brought in Runar Norheim from Tromsø for just £2.5 million. Of course, remembering that we have a superstar cam in Kiergaard, so we do not need to sign a star man there. And from there, we pretty much just sign young players to be rotations. Hjalte Bidstrup was brought in from Copenhagen at right back. Marcus Saim Monson was brought in from Norgesland but loaned straight back out to his parent club as a very exciting young striker. Felix Terrenstadt, the exact same, but as a young exciting right winger going back to Viking. And finally, Vilad Nielsen, who was brought in as a rotational centre back, and it looks like his picture was taken in 1994. He lacks a little bit of consistency, a little bit injury prone, but hopefully he can develop into something very good here. Now, as mentioned, we have changed tactic and we have gone to a 4-2-3-1 tactic with central midfielders rather than central defence midfielders, because this way we can try and get the best out of number 1, our deep line playmaker in Naipan, and number 2, our ball midfielder in Emil Breivik, who comes in to replace Christian Norgard as he drops down to a rotational option. Now, of course, as well, this should see a bit more support for Nusa and Koleosho as they can get more involved in the attacking build-up and not be overtaken by the strikers that were up there doing all the business. They're going to need to get much more involved this season. Wolfer and Roberts at wing back are hopefully going to be flying forward and supplying us with lots of assists as well, and of course led by that man Philip Bundegaard, who has developed into a superstar striker. And to be honest, very much the same for last season. I'm looking to lift the trophy this season, so the FA Cup or Carabao Cup needs to be coming back to Turf Moor. And while you do in fact join us here in Wembley in the most historical competition in England, the FA Cup, but not in the final. We are in the semi-final against Newcastle and got off to a pretty decent start thanks to Connor Roberts grabbing an early goal. But Newcastle are a pretty good side of their own. Joe Linton and Anthony Gordon link up to make it 1-1, and Newcastle show their set-piece dominance thanks to that man Sven Botman. But in the 98th minute, showing that Scandinavian fight and spirit, Burnley come back and Kiergaard heads us to drawing 2-2 in this game, sending it all the way to penalties where Lewis Hall missed the first. And we went on to win the whole thing on penalties, sending us into the final against Chelsea, where again we go to extra time and we grab the first goal in extra time as well, as Norheim slides it past Swedish man Jorgensen, maybe being paid a little bit there, to give us the early lead. But João Felix scores in the 118th minute and we send the game to penalties once again. We scored, they scored. We then actually missed this penalty to Brownhill, but Chelsea missed thanks to Moises Caicedo and Anthony Faulkner with the very last penalty. James Trafford saves and Burnley win the FA Cup on penalties, winning the semis at Wembley and the finals at Wembley as well, which means we have won the most historical competition in England with only Scandinavian players. And it's very good we have as well, because we've had a shocking season in the league, finishing down in 15th place on 47 points with a -7 goal difference. I say shocking, pretty much the same season as last season, but due to the improvement of the league, we have dropped down to 15th rather than finishing in 11th. We actually were 1 point better off this season. Just looks worse than it really is. The tactic was decent and we sort of played more of how I wanted to play. We got the wingers a little bit more involved, which is good. The cam was great. The striker was decent, only grabbing 16 goals and a 6.71 isn't ideal, and maybe there is places to be improved. But now we have European football, we should be able to bring in some of the better Scandinavian players for season number 4 and the penultimate one of the rebuild. So we straight away brought in Rooney Bargi from Copenhagen. The Swedish right winger is renowned for being one of the most signed wonder kids on FM24, and we are lucky enough that he is Scandinavian, so he joins Burnley. And for a bit more goal-scoring threat as a striker, I've also signed Kasper Dolberg on a free agent contract from Anderlecht. Interestingly, I don't believe he's ever played in England, which really surprises me. He's been to Ajax, Nice, Sevilla, Hoffenheim, now at Anderlecht, and now we bring him to Burnley after having 4 very good seasons there, and he'll be the backup option for Bundegaard if we need him to come on and score goals. And then we invested more in some fantastic youth talent, this time signing Høyenhal from Rosenborg as a backup goalkeeper. Tom Shamoon is a very exciting young striker signed from Malmo. And Petru Laskesson is the final one signed from AGF as a fantastic young Danish centre-back, but is going to be going out on loan to one of the many championship clubs that is interested in him. Again, the team looking a little bit different now with Bargi coming in on that right wing. We have now got the inside forwards on attack rather than on support, looking to try again get them more and more involved. Naipan last season was very, very decent. He done very well in that deep line playmaker role, and it is really built for him. So hopefully we can get more and more out of him as well. And the back 4 is actually pretty much the same as the very start. Other than Wolf at left back, Esteve and Bayer are 2 very good centre backs. And despite anyone we have brought in, these 2 are both sort of early 20s when you start out and are now progressing into really solid Premier League centre backs. And Connor Roberts is just fantastic. I never thought I'd say that on Football Manager. With 19 natural fitness and 18 determination, despite being 33 years of age now, he is still one of the better players at this club. And James Trafford is just a lights-out electric goalkeeper. So we are pretty good there as well. So we are nearly now at a full Scandinavian side. There isn't many players in this first team. Esteve, Bayer, Roberts and Trafford, of course. But other than that, and Koleosho, we've got 6 in the first team, and I mean the whole bench other than backup goalkeeper Connor Edwards is all from Scandinavia. And we have got to keep a couple of players that are homegrown at club, because hopefully, well, we are now in Europe, and we haven't got many players that are homegrown at the club. So we've had to sort of think about that a little bit as well when keeping Roberts and Trafford, and for the backup goalkeeper. Lucky enough, Koleosho is here, and someone like Naipan will be trained at the club in the next few months as well. And a lot of the younger Norwegian players and Danish players I brought in are getting to the point of being homegrown at club as well. So we've had to sort of use our brain in that way as well. But exciting times ahead. We are in the Community Shield, the Carabao Cup, the FA Cup, Europa League, and Premier League for the penultimate season in this Burnley rebuild. So let's see what trophies we can win then. Is it going to be the Premier League? Well, I don't think so. We have had a pretty decent season this year though. We started off a little bit ropey, but went unbeaten for nearly 3 months before losing to Brentford. A pretty shocking December, but overall in the league this season, things were much better than they have been in recent years, and we actually secured 7th place with 62 points. And well, it wasn't going to be a Carabao Cup that we'd be lifting this season, as we get knocked out to Bournemouth in the 4th round, and it wasn't going to be an FA Cup either, as we lose to Huddersfield. So all hopes are pinned on the Europa League trophy. And if our league phase form was anything to go off, there was a very good chance we could be fighting for it as well. We ended up in 9th place, just a point outside of the top 8, and very annoyingly, we were absolutely battering teams like Applewell and AZ on goal difference with a positive 12, but just about missing out. Which means we had to go to the dreaded knockout playoff round and faced up against Bromby, a team from Scandinavia who I just feel horrendously bad for. I didn't really want to do this to a Scandinavian side, given we are effectively a Scandinavian side, but we have absolutely bullied them and ended up beating them 7-3 on aggregate over the 2 legs, including this dominating 5-2 victory here at Turf Moor, thanks to goals from all of our new stars. Which then brought on the round of 16 against AZ Alkmaar, a team that had just pipped us to the top 8, and we conceded to an early penalty. But again, making Turf Moor an absolute fortress, and goals from Breivik were becoming things which which always happen for us in European football. Breivik and Olsen linking up down that right-hand side before finding Naipan to find Rooney Bargi to make it 2-1 in the final goal in this whole entire tie, as we draw 0-0 in the away leg and come away as 2-1 winners. Fiorentina was up next, and the Italian side once again came undone thanks to our Scandinavian fortunes, as Bundegaard scores in 71 minutes, and in the 98th we grabbed a second and turned Turf Moor into a fortress once again thanks to a 0-0 draw, meaning once again we were through to the semi-finals, where we were drawn up against Greek side AEK. And when the draw was made and we went 1-0 up in this tie, I thought this was going to be very easy to get to the final, but I was very, very mistaken, as AEK levelled the game up, meaning we had to go back to that Turf Moor happy place and see if we could win the tie. And we did win 1-0, thanks to first season signing Michael Kaufman, who has given us a place in the all-important, the coveted, the massive Europa League final. We were facing up against English opposition. Tottenham Hotspur, managed by Michael Rosa, was the team that stood in our way, and Basuma, thanks to just 3 minutes in, an early back post header gave them the early lead. But this Burnley side didn't know when to give up, and this season's star signing Rooney Bargi didn't know when to give up. He scored there to make it 1-0 and scored a second in this game to make it 2-1 in the 111th minute. But no, that is not the final goal in this game. In the 113th minute, Pape Mateta Sarr scored for Spurs and sent this game to penalties, where the first penalty by Heung-min Son was missed, thanks to James Trafford with a save. And our first penalty was missed. And it all came down to Spurs' fourth penalty, with Mateta Sarr eventually being saved by James Trafford, and our final penalty being scored by Antonio Nusa to send Burnley into hysterics and lifting the Europa League and making us European champions. Which of course is the reason we are qualified for the Champions League, as you eagle-eyed people may have seen, for our fifth and final season. Now, it would be ridiculous if we end up winning the Champions League with this Burnley side. I mean, it is quite literally only Scandinavian players, and my pronunciation for anyone that is Scandinavian, it's probably absolutely horrendous. Bundegaard, Kjærgaard and Bargi, Naipan, Breivik. I don't know if I'm doing a good job. Again, let me know in the comments down below. Is my pronunciation actually okay, or have you turned the video off already because it was that bad? Probably that one, and I'm going to see no comments about it, let's be honest. But yeah, so a very good season. We win the Europa League. We are qualified for the Champions League for the fifth and final season, and financially we are in a pretty damn good spot because of that as well. This balance is about to absolutely fly, and all of this debt and transfer debt is already gone thanks to that Europa League win. So let's now try and build a Premier League winning side. And well, first off, we're signing a young striker to back up Philip Bundegaard in Jakub Amabek, signed actually from Manchester City, who poached him from Brøndby at a very young age. He now has 16 finishing, 17 composure and ridiculous physical stats, and has replaced Chidozie Martin not only in my books but also in Denmark's books, as he has not progressed at all. We have sold him to Leicester for £9 million, making some tidy profit. And Jakub Amabek has taken his role as the new Danish striker. He has now played 4 games for them and is an absolute bagsman. So it'll be great to have him on loan here for a season. We've also gone to Denmark to bring in Patrick Dorgu, a left-back that is now linked with clubs like Manchester United due to his outrageous physical ability and ability to whip balls into the box. He's consistent, he likes big matches, and he's going to be unreal here at Burnley. William Clem is my next signing, another Danish central defence midfielder signed from Copenhagen. And finally, it's young Danish left-back Philip Smedgaard, signed from Sheffield United as a regen, as he came through the Hobro Academy in Denmark. He looks fantastic, and our team, we've actually tried to go back to the 4-2-4 for this final season. Dorgu playing at right back, allowing Wolf to go in at left back. Esteve is our left centre back, and you see this man Hunter at centre back. He was not purchased. He came through the Burnley Academy. My God, I've never seen a Burnley wonder kid do this well. We played 40 games in the Championship last season, come to 7.12. So Mr. George Hunter is in the first team for this season we could have found a generational English centre-back. Breivik and Clem make up the DM positions, but of course we have got Naipan and Norgard, of course, still there. Bargi and Nusa make up the wingers, with Kjørgaard and Bundegaard up front, but of course the likes of Dolberg and Ambek can come in to them strike positions if needed. A very exciting side ready to take on the Premier League and Champions League, which, I mean, we of course got dumped out of very, very quickly in the round of 16 thanks to losing to Chelsea 4-2 in this one. The league phase, we were 16th. We were never really good enough to play Champions League football. As you finish 7th in the Prem, you probably shouldn't, but lifting a European competition gets you there. And we had good fun in the Champions League, but it wasn't meant to be winning it for this season. So that's a little challenge for you guys on Patreon, as is actually lifting the Premier League, as we finish down in 9th place and don't take that next step to being a massive Premier League side while using the Scandinavian only rule. I would like you guys to try and keep up with the Scandinavian only signings and see if you can make Burnley Premier League winners. Send me screenshots on Patreon, Discord, anything like that. All the links are down below to do that. Make sure you are liking the video. If you have enjoyed this Burnley only rebuild using Scandinavian players, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll speak to you next time. Sunderland are full of talented players and currently have two of the most highly touted young English midfielders in Joe Bellingham and Chris Rigg taking up their ranks of the midfield, and are surrounded by other incredibly talented players like Wilson Isdior, Dan Neil, Dan Ballard, and in goal Anthony Patterson. And today I want to add to that young talent and take Sunderland to being the best team in England while signing wonder kids and bringing this once great club back to the top. And we'll be starting out using a Sunderland system which I have tried to build a little bit like their current manager, and the team looks a little bit like this, with Anthony Patterson in goal, who is a fantastic young goalkeeper. This guy is just 23 years of age and he has 20 determination, and if you know FM, that is fantastic. He has great area reach and jumping reach. He's 6'1", consistent and likes big matches, is a leading championship goalkeeper and potential to be a good Premier League goalkeeper. So this guy really is good enough to go all the way with us until we become Premier League champions, and that is when this rebuild will end. We're going to go until we make the Mackems Premier League champions. But it doesn't stop there, because to be honest, there is a lot of fantastic young talent. At right back, we have Trey Hume, who is a Northern Irish 21-year-old recently signed from Linfield, who could also come to the very top with us. At left back, an on loan signing of Dennis Churkin, who I am tempted to try and get back because he is also fantastic, and we are using him as a wing back on attack, and he's going to be influential throughout this whole rebuild, as will Daniel Ballard. This guy is the epitome of a solid championship centre-back, and Willigan's making a Premier League player as well. He has played at Blackpool, at Millwall, and now at Sunderland, and he's done a fantastic job. Great heading, good physicals, great mental stats for just 23 years of age, and is a true leader at the back. We have Chris Mentham on loan as well from Bournemouth, which is a very decent player to have on loan at 25 years of age. And I've realised Dennis Churkin isn't on loan. Apologies, he is here full time, which is great. Someone that is on loan is Enzo Lefebvre. What on earth is this guy doing in the Championship? I have got absolutely no idea. He is a fantastic talent. I'm probably not going to bring him back after the first season, but we're going to see if he can help us get Premier League football. Now, for this first season, I'm going to lock in this midfield duo, Joe Bellingham and Chris Rigg. Now, Chris Rigg is just a 2-star player, 16 years of age, 5-star potential, and I'm going to have this guy in midfield for the whole of this rebuild. Regardless, if he doesn't grow or whatever, this guy's going to come with us. I'm absolutely sure he is going to grow, and I'm absolutely sure he's going to break into that England team as well, alongside Jobe Bellingham. At 17 years of age, this guy is absolutely incredible. His stats are so well-rounded for this stage of his career at 17 years of age. He could play DM, centre mid, cam, or even striker. I'm not sure where he's going to settle up. He could end up being a striker for us, or he could be in this dangerous midfield duo with Chris Rigg for the rest of this rebuild. On the left wing, we're going to be using Romain Mundle for this season. Another youngster, believe it or not, 20 years of age. This one's slightly less talented according to Football Manager, but in real life, his stats look absolutely fantastic. And on the right side, it's Patrick Roberts, who is a very interesting player, has had a career at Manchester City, signed for £5 million when he was a youngster at Fulham back in 2016, and has been on loan more times than I've had hot dinners, and that's a lot of times. He is now cooking at Sunderland in the Championship, and this season in real life has been influential to their playoff push currently. It looks like they're going to finish, and up front is Wilson Isidore, and also looks absolutely fantastic. Consistent, likes big matches, 22 years of age, good finishing, good composure. And I've got a family member who is a Sunderland fan, and they were very worried at the start of the season, purely based off where their goals were going to come from. And when you do sort this team by strikers, they have a Nazir Rusin, who was a potential to start at the start of the season, didn't work out, he's been loaned out. They have Wilson Isdior, and they have 18-year-old Eliza Mayenda. Other than that, goals are not coming from the strike partnership, and that is why Joe Bellingham ended up playing up front for them and being absolutely fantastic. It does look like, though, in recent weeks, and probably a little bit longer than that, this has been the settled best team, and it is absolutely fantastic. And to be honest, it doesn't even stop there, because there are some fantastic players that are not in this starting lineup. Salis Abdul Samed is on loan and looks brilliant. Dan Neil is 21 years of age and a fantastic all-rounded midfielder. I think probably long term, this guy is our DM ahead of Enzo Lefebvre, and we have Chris Rigg and Joe Bellingham in front, and we're probably set for a Premier League winning team with that free midfield, which is unbelievable. Alan Brown is another rotation midfielder. Out on loan, we have Timothy Pembele, who's a 5-star wonder kid right back, and Abdullah Bar, who's a Mauritian 5-star wonder kid winger. The talent just carries on coming. Luke O'Neill is a fantastic well-rounded midfielder and defender. Niall Higgins is a wing-back. Pierre Ekwe is a backup midfielder. A.G. Alese, a young centre-back. Jewison Benete is a 5-star super speed winger as well, who we've not even touched on. He could be elite for us. Nectar Triantis, Jason Snell, Leo Fielde, Ian Pervader. I mean, Wonder Kids wise, I have never seen an actual real life team built quite like this. The oldest player is 33, 28, 28, and then 26 at Patrick Roberts is the most experienced, which is incredible. We're going to the development centre. We also have Milan Eksic, who is an unexperienced, a 17-year-old Serbian striker, does just have 3 determinations, so probably isn't going to become anything in this save for us, but it is incredible, the youngsters we have here at Sunderland, and we're probably going to get more throughout this rebuild as well. We have an unbelievable training facilities of 4.5-star, 4-star youth facilities as well, and 2-star youth recruitment, which of course we are going to attempt to grow. Now, currently in real life, Sunderland are sitting, I believe, in 5th place as of recording this. Obviously, the top 3, Sheffield United, Leeds, and Burnley, are a tiny bit clear, and then you have the likes of Middlesbrough, Sunderland, and co. trying to push for that playoff spot. And I think it'll be great to have Sunderland back in the Premier League. If we look at the club info of this great club, 50,000 capacity, obviously massive rivals of Newcastle, who are on a bit of a story of their own recently, have won their first trophy in a long time. Be good to have their rivals back in the Premier League and get the northeast of England back on top in the Premier League. Just 2 big clubs there would be fantastic. Of course, my club, Manchester United, we've got Manchester City to rival, and rivalries is what makes football fantastic. And a Sunderland back in the Premier League rivalry with Newcastle would be absolutely brilliant. Now, my goal for this season is the fact that I'm not going to make any other signings. We're going to be using these tactics, which I have actually tried to build based on how Sunderland do look to play in real life. I hope Sunderland fans can kind of see that, and you can let me know if I've done an okay job based on the stats there. You can see Trey Hume's going to come slightly inside, Dennis Churkin's going to go slightly higher, Roberts a little more attacking than Mundle. A bit of a weird system, but great as well because the centre mid on attack with Joe Bellingham. In terms of the competitions, we are predicted this season to come in 6th place, so we are predicted playoff football. Realistically, I expect to get promoted this season. They're going to do it in real life, potentially at least get playoffs. I think this season on FM, we're going to absolutely cook, and I'm hoping for some serious growth out of some of our youngsters. And then from there, I'm going to go out and sign some great hidden wonder kids and top tier wonder kids. If you haven't seen the video I released the other day, which is a £10 million versus £100 million transfer window, I'm going to go and use that hidden scouting method to find wonder kids in this save and hopefully find some absolute gems. And I mean, you guys are going to have to wait and see what superstars we end up signing. There is no age cap. I want to sign wonder kids that get good throughout the save in real life as well. If there's a 25-year-old, 26-year-old in 6, 7, 8, however many years time it takes, if there's a wonder kid currently on FM, which is a little bit older, I'm going to go and get them and make them a superstar. But without further ado, let's get into this first season. Now, this season, it was important to me that we really saw some attacking outlet from this team. So we knew we could go up into the Premier League and compete with the very best. And the first goal we're going to see is a Chris Rigg to Jobe Bellingham goal. That is absolutely perfect and exactly what I want to see. Second up, Wilson Isdior grabbing the second, also something I wanted to see. And the third goal is going to be from O'Neill finding Dan O'Neill to find the bottom corner in a very convincing 3-0 win against relegation-threatened Portsmouth. And to be honest, there was many more results exactly like that. August was unbeaten, September was a victorious month, winning every single game, and while our form did fall off a little bit in October with 3 draws, a loss, just 1 win, we soon got back on form with a few wins in November, including a famous 1-0 against Spurs, which to me was enough proof that we were ready to compete in the Premier League. And that is something we'll be doing next season as we finish second place in the Championship behind Leeds United on 8 points difference. 2 points safe of West Brom, but it's Burnley that get promoted with us. And to be honest, I think this is the 3 that actually get promoted in real life, which is awesome. The 3 relegated is very different to real life. Crystal Palace, Bournemouth and Everton. FM overhyping Southampton, Ipswich and Leicester greatly on 49 points, but that doesn't matter because we are going to have an easier Premier League by the looks of it, which is great. So 85 points for us, a 34 goal difference, 24 wins, 13 draws and 9 losses. Looking at the goals scored, we were second to just Sheffield United, and goals conceded, we were 5th behind Leeds, Bristol, Millwall and Swansea. But in terms of our goal scorer, there was a clear key player in Wilson Isdior, who throughout this season grabbed 37 goals, 3 assists in 53 games, and has already progressed into what I would say a dangerous striker or superb winger. He has 15 finishing, 12 composure and electric pace. I don't know if he's going to be good enough for the Premier League instantly up front, but as a winger, I am very confident this guy could be more than good enough. I'm getting like a real good vibe from him, and I think he could be fantastic. In terms of clean sheets, second place, Anthony Patterson behind Elan Meslier has also grown at a ridiculous rate, of course due to his 20 determination. He is going to grow so fast, it is ridiculous, and he's not the only one. Chris Rigg is already up to a 3-star championship quality player, remember, at just 16 years of age. Throughout just this season alone, in terms of his stats, he's gone up 7 stats mentally, 3 stats physically, and is looking to progress a lot technically as a player. He grabbed 16 goal contributions in 51 games, and remember, he is 16 years of age. Do you know how outrageous that actually is? He outperformed Jobe Bellingham by quite some distance. Jobe got 12 goals and assists combined, but it's progressed to, just as fantastically. But them two as a partnership, it is going to be so fun for years to come. I'm going to stick to this 4-3-3 throughout this rebuild and really try and make them two the pivot that this team is built upon. But as we've seen already, there were some other absolute star players in this team. Patrick Roberts grabbed 23 goal contributions. Jewison Benete played only 9 games starting, 32 off the bench, scored 8 goals and got 5 assists, and has already grown into a really good talent and is so quick. Dan Neil from midfield grabbed 7 goals and 4 assists. Mayenda 3 goals in just 19 bench appearances. Our best players this season, playing a bunch of games, Ali Alesse with 15 starts, 5 assists, a 7.1 average rating. Enzo Lefebvre, of course, was instrumental in that DM position. Sadly, going to be going back to Roma, but 17 goal contributions was great this season from that DM position. And it's good to see as well that our wing backs were very instrumental wherever they may be. I actually say that. They are nowhere near as instrumental as I thought they were. I can't see my left back anywhere. I'm not too sure where Dennis Churkin has gone. Oh, that's where he went. In January, Spurs had a buyback clause on him, I guess. And they picked him back up for £6 million. So that's where Dennis Churkin's gone. That's why I thought he was on loan. He is now listed for transfer again. I mean, what? That's disgusting. They purchased him on the 1st of January from us, transferred to the next day, as the club are looking to make a profit on him from the activation of a buyback clause. I have never seen that. He is wanted by 11 clubs on loan. Spurs, that is disgusting. He was having a pretty decent season for us. No assists, surprisingly enough, but a goal in 23 games, and Spurs have absolutely robbed us. Well, that explains a lot. So we need to go out there and sign a brand new left back. I mean, financially, it's good for Sunderland because they were in the reds a little bit, but we are now absolutely fine. We have no debt on the club and now £45 million in overall balance. You can see it drop down to a negative £10 million by the end of the season. But due to the Premier League promotion, we are now going to be pretty rich for the rest of this rebuild. We have £28 million in transfer budget. And very different to the Reading rebuild, which if you haven't seen is a 3-part series, which is fantastic. We have 100% retention of our transfer revenue. So in terms of any sales we get, which given the fact we have got some very highly rated wonder kids could happen, any sales we get, we are taking every single piece of the money. Now, I'm not looking to go out there and spend 50, 60 million, but I am looking to bring in some absolute top tier talent. So we have just 5 signings for this Premier League season. And of course, we are adding in some wonder kid talent and most notably a striker in John Carikabaru from Racing Santander. This guy is 19 determination, very good at finishing composure duo and decent speed. He is consistent and cost us £5.25 million. Now, the striker market, I've got to say, was pretty weak without spending stupid money. So I am taking a risk. John Carikabaru, I hope you're going to be our number 9 for the future. And if not, then we're going to have to go back to Wilson-Isdor and Ali Jassim is going to go into our wing position. Now, if you do not know about Ali Jassim, where have you been? This guy signed for Como from Al Quayer Al Jawira. He's been on loan on Almere and on FM here in the Eredivisie. Just grabbed 14 goal contributions and a 7.21 average rating. We've snapped him straight up £7 million. And if he reaches his full potential, well, we're going to have one of the best players in the game on our hands straight away. Next up is one of the hottest young left-back prospects in football right now. It's Tom Roth, signed from Union Berlin. I say left-back, he is very unorthodox. He is 6'4", so very easily could slot in to centre-back. But to start off, he is going to be our left-back. He is consistent, he is a giant, and he is fantastic. And our penultimate signing and final one was a transfer is Matteo Prati, coming in from Cagliari. He is an Italian defensive midfielder and is the man we have brought in to attempt to replace Enzo Lefebvre. While we do go to the loan market for our final signing of Rory Wilson, a loan signing from Aston Villa. Now, this is a bit of a strange one, but I didn't want to spend any more money. We spent about £35 million this transfer window. Didn't make any money from sales, so I didn't want to completely break the bank in case we got relegated. But this guy, at 18 years of age, has 2 caps for Scotland, 16 finishing, good composure, good physical stats, and a very easy loan fee for us. He didn't perform last year in the Premier League for Aston Villa, but for us, I'm hoping to be a very good rotational option. Now, when looking into our team, this is what we currently have. We have Patterson in goal, Trey Hume, Roth, Ballard and Luke O'Neill as our 4 centre-backs, as Chris Metham has also gone. Prati in the DLP role, Rigg and Bellingham in the midfield role, Isdior on the left-hand side, Jassim on the right-hand side, and Carikabaru as our striker up front. The backup, Simon Moore, Timothy Pembele comes straight into the squad after his loan spell. Triantis, Aji Alese and Huggins make up our defence. Ekwa, Daniel and Ali Akuche make up the midfield, with Patrick Roberts, Jewison Beniete and Rory Wilson making up the attacking rotational options. And to be honest, I imagine this is going to rotate a lot. Patrick Roberts is going to play loads of games. Isdior, pretty good player up front for a few games. I can imagine Roberts going over to the left and Jassim on the right, or Benete coming in on the left and Jassim on the right, or Roberts on the right. Wilson coming in. Dan O'Neill's going to come into that midfield role. Ekwa can as well. Ali Akuche. I mean, we are full of youngsters that can play in every single position for us, and the backups are just as good as the first team, really, which is very rare for a brand new Premier League club, but also very rare to have them at such a good young age. Now, looking into our season preview in the Premier League, of course, we are 700 to 1 to get relegated, but I think we're going to absolutely cook. This team is set for the future, and I have no doubt we're about to excel them expectations. If I can just ask you guys that are watching at this point a massive favour, around 70% of you that are watching this are not subscribed, so smash that subscribe button, and while you're down there, smash that like button, and you are not going to regret the content you see coming out on this channel over the next few months, leading up to a very important and very exciting FM25. Now, of course, we have set out our expectation for Premier League safety in this first season, and beating teams like Aston Villa would go a long way in securing that safety, especially in this sort of fashion. Now, we get off to a great start with Joe Bellingham poking us ahead 1-0 in just 5 minutes. But of course, Aston Villa do peg us back 1-1 thanks to a goal from Emi Buendia. But we then start to see how this tactic works and how this squad really is going to be a real menace for teams to compete with. Chris Rigg spinning his man and finding Isdior off that left wing for Patrick Roberts. Dinks it in, and Isdior scores once again at that back stick for a 3-1 lead. Now, Villa are going to score once again, but we are not done either. Oscar Glau finds Tyrone Mings for one of the best goals I've ever seen. It reminded me of a company goal for Manchester City all them years ago. But our fourth is going to come as Patrick Roberts finds that man Carrigabaru to knock down to Joe Bellingham for 4-2 in a very convincing battering of one of the Premier League's hottest sides right now, which should probably give you some pretty good understanding of the fact that we have just finished 12th place in the Premier League and absolutely smashed our first season. 44 points, 13 wins, 5 draws, 20 losses, a negative 19 goal difference, but 10 points ahead of safety and just 10 points away from top half Premier League football after just 2 seasons rebuilding this club, which is absolutely unbelievable. And some of my favourite bits of this is the players that are performing. John Carrigabaru, our striker signing, scored 14 goals, but Wilson Isdior was hot on his heels with 10, while Joe Bellingham got all-important 9 with 3 assists, and Chris Rigg 5 and 8 assists. I love it. I really do like Sunderland, and that's quite painful to say. My brother is a massive Newcastle fan. As I'm a United fan, I got absolutely cooked on the weekend, and I was around there and got mean for losing 4-1. So I feel quite good at the fact that I say I quite like this current Sunderland setup. And it's just awesome to see almost a team doing what I do with wonder kids and bringing through youth talent in real life like Sunderland are doing. I personally really hope Chris Rigg somehow ends up at United. I think he's such a talented player. I hope Joe Bellingham really goes on to be a top tier side, and I actually hope, I take that back, I hope if Sunderland get promoted, all the young players stay at them and do exactly what I've done in this first season. I hope they trust him in the Premier League. Don't go out and spend a ridiculous amount of money bringing in talent. Trust the youth and see what happens, because we've seen so far in the Premier League, the last 3 seasons, I think, the 3 teams that come up have gone straight back down. Maybe bringing through youth cutting players and using a young team that has a lot of fight, passion and spirit is what's needed to stay in the Prem. And this Sunderland team has a lot of that straight off the bat. Anthony Patterson, Trey Hume, Dan Ballard, Chris Rigg, Joe Bellingham, Wilson Isdior, Timothy Pembele, Nectar Triantis, Adji Elise, Niall Huggins, Dan Neal, Adi Adouche, Patrick Roberts is still quite young, and Jewison Beniete, all young players which will thrive in the Premier League if given the opportunity, because it's the biggest league that players want to play in. They will give anything to play in the Premier League, and you give some of them youngsters a chance, I genuinely believe they absolutely thrive. Now, Chris Rigg at this point is valued up to 49 to 76 million pounds, which is absolutely outrageous. And Joe Bellingham is valued between 54 and 67 million pounds. Now, neither of them have made their debut for England yet, but don't worry, throughout this rebuild, I'm going to be keeping an eye on them caps, and they really should get capped throughout this rebuild. I do believe I've done a Bellingham's Birmingham rebuild around a year ago on FM24, maybe even longer than that. It was definitely on this game, And Job never got a cap for England despite lifting the Champions League. So I'd be interested to see if he has been updated to this point where we can actually get him to be in the England team next to his brother Bellingham, Jude Bellingham, of course. Wilson is Dior as well. I would love to see if he gets a France cap because he is doing really well for us, a 6.75. He is progressing at a really good rate as well. He isn't happy, wants a brand new deal. We'll sort that out for him. Same for Anthony Patterson and Trey Hume. Luke O'Neill is a bit of a Sunderland legend at this point. He's been here for 7 years and has been all the way down in League 2. Oh, I was going to say, when did Sunderland go to League 2? They didn't. League 1 with them and has come back up now and has been a really important player for them and is now here with us in the Premier League, which is awesome to see. Ali Jassim, a fairly decent year, 11 goal contributions. Wasn't quite as impressive as I actually thought. I thought he would be quite simply unbelievable. At my Como rebuild, he really was a top talent. Matteo Prati as well, not quite as good as I thought he would be. Dan Neil taking that DM spot for his own. And to be honest, I'd probably just keep sticking with that. But I know I'm going to try and replace him because I can't not sign a midfielder. Tom Roth at left back, very impressive at just 20 years of age to come in and grab 27 games. Dan Ballard as well at 6.74, 40 games and a goal. And that is our Premier League safe team. Now, I did mention financially we were going to be pretty good from now on. £98 million in the bank and an £83 million transfer budget. Now, because I'm not saying any sort of restrictions on this save, we're having fun signing wonder kids, we are going to get a bit mental throughout this rebuild. I'm going to go and try and find some of the best wonder kids ever, but also some of the best hidden wonder kids on the game. So let me introduce you to Sunderland's new number 9, Sheena Ayodele. I have gone to Nigeria and to Remo Stars to find a hidden wonder kid striker, to find a bit of an experiment in this rebuild. I didn't want to just go out and sign the best wonder kid striker possible. If this doesn't work out, I will be going and doing that. Now, John Akirabaru was decent last season, but I'm going to have some fun. I want to try and find a hidden gem and find my player of FM for £1 million. Sheena Ayodele, who has just grabbed 12 goals, 5 assists and a 7.4 average rating, has joined Sunderland. He is capped at under 23 level. And if you don't know how I would find players like this, check out the video from the other day where proving you can win on Football Manager using less than £100 million. We've done that and we signed fantastic wonder kids, and Sheena Ayodele was found using that exact hidden gem scouting method. He is great on both feet. He is quick. He has good finishing. He has good composure. If we get the right growth with him, this guy could be absolutely superb. And to be honest, I didn't stop there in Hidden Wonder Kids. I actually had a bit of a Hidden Wonder Kids summer. I found Gibson Nana Adu from Unterhaching in Germany. He just grabbed a 7.66, 8 goals, 2 assists in the 3rd tier of Germany. Cost us 500k and looks outrageous. Great speed, great agility, extreme consistency, 17 concentration, 13 finishing, 11 composure, great determination, 5'8", right-footed. And he's our brand new right winger, as at least a rotational option, and he looks brilliant. Next up is Colombian centre-back Kevin Mantilla, coming in from Independiente. He is highly determined, good defensive stats, and very quick. Fabio Chiadroya is another centre-back coming in to be a rotation. Quite a well-known wonder kid, German from Borussia Mönchengladbach. And my final signing is Max Merrick from Chelsea, simply a homegrown English goalkeeper. I don't imagine he'll play many games at all, if ever. If Anthony Peterson gets injured, well, I suppose I deserve the punishment of not having a good backup goalkeeper. This is my Sunderland team, though, for this season. Patterson in goal, Pembele, Roth, Ballard and Chiadrola, with Neil, Rigg and Bellingham as a fantastic midfield trio. Isdior on the left, Adu on the right, and Sheena Ayodele up front. I am very excited for this season. We are in the Premier League, and we have got 2 hidden wonder kids that I have never seen before in the team, looking to make a name for himself, looking to make an impact, and we are carrying on that wonder kid spell. And to be honest, it didn't really work. We finished 16th, 35 points. We fell off quite a lot this season, 10 points differential, and it is safe to say having a £15 million transfer window was a bit of an understatement on my side, a bit of an oversight in quite how difficult the Premier League could be and how dangerous it can be to not sign some absolute superstars. I locked Sheena Ayodele in to be our striker. He scored 15 goals, got 2 assists, and had some great growth. But I'm not sure he's the answer. 44 games. He has now capped for Nigeria, And already I'm going to hold my hands up and say, what a signing. We have found an absolute superstar. And regardless of what happens from here, this is why I'm having so much fun on FM still, because I'm managing to sign hidden people that no one's ever heard of or used before and turn them into Premier League players, at least high-level Championship players, which is unbelievable. The other geezer, the high-potential Gibson, just 10 games overall, 2 assists, but is a 5-star wonder kid, the highest potential player at the club. Given we have Joe Bellingham and Chris Rigg at the club, that's pretty impressive. This guy will go on to become something, I'm sure of it. He is very, very consistent. He is currently injured with a pulled hamstring. Hopefully that's something that doesn't persist. Chris Rigg, another decent season, but not quite as good. And the same can be said for Joe Bellingham as well. Jewison Beniete actually played loads of games this season, 10 goal contributions for him. And Tom Roth with 5 from the left-back position. But overall, quite a big drop-off this season. I think I expected to just, because we've got young players, to grow and grow and grow and be the best team ever. That's not happened. We need to go out there and sign some better wonder kids and potentially some slightly older wonder kids that are going to come in and make us much better straight away. Again, Joe Bellingham, now a value of £91 million, no England cap, which I find absolutely ridiculous, by the way. Wilson Isdior, no France cap just yet. And Chris Rigg, no England cap just yet. But the 3 Sunderland youngsters, well, they're progressing very, very quickly. Financially, because I didn't spend much money last year, we do have £118 million to spend. And I think it's time we go and have a little bit of fun and bring in some top-tier talent. So for my first signing, I've signed the biggest prospect in world football as centre-back right now. It is Dean Huijsen from Bournemouth, and he has hardly played in the last 3 seasons. Now, we know the talent of Dean on Football Manager and in real life. This guy will possibly go to one of the biggest teams in the world this year. He has made his cap international for Spain, but now he's a Sunderland player. Some would say fall from grace, but in this rebuild, well, that is an absolutely fantastic move. And we're going to lock him in to be our starting centre-back next to Daniel Ballard, as we are quite literally set for as many years as this rebuild takes. We then move on to the right-back position, and improving our defence this season is something that I really wanted to do. So Alex Jimenez came in from AC Milan, another incredible wonder kid on this year's game. As mentioned, we are basically signing only wonder kids in this rebuild, but I'm not going to stick it to they have to be under 21. I've had a few comments saying it can get a bit boring when it's just regens, etc. So signing some slightly older wonder kids. Dean was 22 and has developed not very well. I'm going to try and make him a late bloomer. And Alex Jimenez, who's 21, has only played 10 games for the AC Milan first team and a bunch for the Serie C side, that Cavascat team. He has been out on loan in Sevilla as well for a whole year and didn't play. But this guy's stats are fantastic, and I'm sure he's going to be unreal in the Prem. My next signing is one that I have actually never seen before. It is Pedro from Zenit St. Petersburg in Russia. He is a right winger. He is 5'9", great on both feet, great agility, decent speed, but great dribbling and flair, like a Neymar type. Not amazing over 5 yards, but get him on the ball, he'll beat a man. He has enough speed to get through them. A little bit injury prone as well. So I'm sure on this guy's sister's birthday, we're probably not going to see him play too many games. And finally, we have El Hadji Malik Diouf. I've got a very weird memory in my head that this guy has got a big move in real life. If that is the case, let me know in the comments down below. I've seen definitely RDF speak about him as one of the hottest young left-back prospects in the world, and I'm sure I've seen that he's moved somewhere potentially, but I'm a massive fan of this guy. I have been for a long time on FM. He's a really good Moneyball signing. He cost me just £2.5 million, 7.04 average rating for the second team in Slavia Prague, but this guy's talent is absolutely fantastic, and I'm going to ignore the fact this is a League One player, because based on crossing, dribbling, determination, and physical stats, while also being 6'1", I believe this guy is more than good enough to go to the top, while also having 6 caps for the Senegalese youth team. Now, you can see the concentration there was heavily on the defence, but only one comes in to the starting lineup. Now, Pembele has been brilliant for us in this whole entire rebuild, so he is going to be a heavy rotation with Alex Jimenez. I've got no idea who's going to play more. Dean is only a 2-star centre-back right now, but he will be starting next to Ballard, and Tom Roth, well, he is going to be our starting left-back for sure. He is fantastic. We have kept the midfield trio of Daniel, Joe Bellingham, and Chris Rigg. Pedro does come into that right wing position, Isdior on the left, and Sheena Ayodele up front. But someone that is going to start progressing really quickly is Gibson Nana Adu, the German right winger / striker, is developing really well. has that 5-star potential still. Value is outrageous, and he can play in this right wing role at the same level as Pedro, and I can also play up front at the same level as what's his name, Shinya Ayodele. So I imagine we're going to see a lot coming from him in the coming seasons. But that is it in terms of our transfer business, really. That was a fairly, I said expensive window it was going to be. It was about £40 million, so still a fairly big chunk of money spent. Season preview-wise, it does move us off the foot of the table, but only to 19th. Now I'm hoping we're going to be able to do much better than that. There was some outgoings this summer as well. Adjie left the club for £14 million to Al Ittihad, Patrick Roberts to Al Hilal for 6, Leo to Hanover, potentially 5.75 million, and Rushian to Hertha for 2.5 million. Also the loan fee of £3 million for Eliza Mayenda, which is a great piece of business for us loan-wise. So only a net £12 million spent this summer, and I think we've upgraded the defence massively, and potentially our wing position as well with Pedro. So a really exciting summer, and of course this season we are looking to now try and progress into European football. You'll have to bear with me. I recorded the first half of this video a few days ago. We have just survived, didn't we? We had Shinya Ayodele up front. We took a risk going down a little bit and not spending too much money. We've now spent loads of money, and yeah, I'm hoping we can have a much better time of things this season. I said Europe. Let's be realistic. Between 12th and 8th would be great, and 8th could see Conference League football, just like Burnley this year. Now, this season's goal was to tighten up the defence, and I think we actually done a pretty good job of that. Now, as you can see from the fixtures when going through, we started the season in August really well, beating Burnley, Brentford and Chelsea. But they were now on a 3-month not losing streak, but only drawing 3 games, losing the rest. And we did ship a few goals, most notably 6 against City, but every other game was really, really tight. And Dean Huyson also got on the score sheet a few times, to be fair to him. And I do think we have done a decent job, given we are only signing wonder kids. The fact that our goal scoring is about even with our goals conceded is a good job. And I do think we need a new striker. Well, it's been really fun to have a test and try and find a hidden striker like Shinya Ayodele. This was one of only 10 goals this season, which is a really big issue because he was our top goal scorer and just reached double figures. Joe Bellingham did grab 9 and 10 assists, which is outrageously good. Wilson Isdor grabbed 9 and Pedro grabbed 8. That's about what I would expect from our wingers and attacking midfielders. Chris Rigg and Joe Bellingham getting 15 between them. But we need a striker that's getting 20 goals. Look at someone like Liam Delap at Ipswich. Is probably going to finish on 16, 17 goals this season. And Shinya Ayodele is just not quite doing it for us. I am really glad we signed him. We found a bit of a hidden gem. I just don't think he's Premier League quality, but it could be very good in like the Bundesliga because of his physical stats and his finishing. Even like lower down in Italy could be great. I just think the Premier League is a little bit too physical for him, so his physical stats aren't shining through. But it's a really cool signing, and one that, I mean, he's pretty much matched his record in Nigeria at Remo Stars. 72 games, 20 goals. It's just not enough for a Premier League number 9. So that is an area I am certainly looking to improve in the summer. And I put that towards the reason we haven't got European football this season. Now, it is a massive improvement, don't get me wrong, up to 11th place on 52 points, 14 points better off. But just 1 point would have seen us get 8th place to Europa Conference League football. It was a very tight running. 2 could have got Europa League, with Burnley getting back-to-back European seasons. Fair play to Burnley. But overall, very close, but not quite close enough. Hilarious that Arsenal were 14th, United are 12th, and we've missed out on European football. This seems like a season where we really should have capitalised on their mistakes. Even Chelsea down in 10th, level on points with us. Would have been great to match them up. I'm actually checking out the goals scored. We were in the 9th position on 54 goals, which means we conceded 59 goals, I believe it will be. It will be down 15th place. So shipping a few too many goals, not scoring enough goals. But average rating wise, we have got some players that are massively improving. Gibson, 7.07, 14 games, 3 goals, 3 assists. He is only 20 years of age. I do think we're going to have a real breakout season from him very, very soon. Tom Roth, 7 assists, 2 goals. Talented player. And Joe Bellingham, I've got no idea how he's not made his England debut. A 21-year-old midfielder, can also play cam or striker. 19 goal contributions in the Premier League alone in 39 games, with above a 7 average rating, but not getting a call up to England is a sick joke, I've got to say. And Anthony Patterson as well. Oh, he's got 3 caps. That's actually massive. Oh, that's awesome. I did not expect to click on the fact that he would have an England cap, but he got it in 2025 against Sweden. Oh, that's so cool. Anthony Patterson is an England goalkeeper. I love that. That is absolutely awesome. Well, that's cool. The only two we need to do now, I would potentially like to try and see if we can get Wilson a cap for France. Definitely Joe Bellingham. And the other one is certainly Chris Rigg. No caps for him just yet. This is going to be tough to get them all caps, I'll tell you that. But a lovely little side story on the rebuild. And you have to watch the end of the rebuild to find out if that happens. A lovely bit of YouTube SEO. And while you're there, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. And we'll move on to season number 5, shall we? So welcome in our big money striker, Simon Pafundi. He is an incredible wonder kid on FM and isn't spoken about enough about, in my opinion. His stats are outrageous. The biggest determination, unreal physicals, consistent dribbling first touch. His finishing isn't outrageous. And if we eventually potentially change formation to a 4-2-3-1, which I don't think we will, he will do very well in that cam role. But I also think as a link-up, false 90, deep-lying forward striker, while also having the speed and advance forward, he could be unreal. He's only 5'6", which on FM is a little bit not meta. Being a 6'2" quick striker is the meta for sure. But he is very, very talented, and I think will do much better than Ayodele up front. Next up is another young Brazilian winger, this time going to Atletico Mineiro to find Alisson. This guy costs us £7 million and looks a lot more well-rounded, slightly less technically gifted in dribbling and flair, etc., but a much better footballer, a much smarter footballer, and a really good price for him as well. Next up is a young Serbian midfielder in Janko Gacic, and this guy could really go on to potentially replace either Rigg or Joe Bellingham. I hope that doesn't happen, that's for sure. I do think maybe potentially if this guy becomes really, really good, Rigg could drop into DM and Janko and Joe could be our midfield partnership. This guy is unbelievable. His stats are simply outrageous. He's just 18 years of age. Cost me a grand total of £7 million. He hasn't played a professional game yet, but my God, is he talented. And regardless, it's going to be a great rotation midfielder. We then move on to another defensive midfielder in Lorenzo Amatucci from Fiorentina. I said that very Italian, didn't I? That sounded quite good. Lorenzo. Everyone that calls me out for me, pronunciation in the comments, have a go at Lorenzo Amatucci and tell me you're doing the better than that. Consistent life big matches, decent physicals, but unbelievable mental stats, which is great on just a 23-year-old. Great on the ball as well, and it's going to be a real steal for just 7.75 million. Played 3 seasons consistently in the Serie A at Fiorentina, so we know he can play at a top level. And then finally, we move on to 2 of my hidden regen signings. Number 1 is Thapolo Mokiele, a South African centre-back who looks fantastic, as does his good mate Bull Mutasashi, a South African centre-back. We brought in 2, both to be backup centre-backs, both from Kaizer Chiefs. Both are the starting centre-backs for South Africa, and both are wonder kids and absolutely fantastic. And we'll both back up Dean Hyson and Dan Ballard, probably for the rest of this rebuild, because them 2 are just an absolute joke. Jimenez does take the starting right-back position this year, and Roth at the left. England goalkeeper, Patterson in goal, Amatucci, Rigg, Bellingham, Isidore, potentially Pedro, and obviously not Shina Ayodele. Definitely Pafundi, and most likely Alisson on the right as well. I think that's a really, really strong team. And I do think we've improved massively this summer. Just having a striker, I mean, if we compare him to Shina Ayodele, it's going to be such a big difference in just that one position. I mean, look at that. Mental, defending, physical, speed, vision, attacking, technical stats, all better than Ayodele. And then just in the air, he's not quite as good. But that's fine, because I believe we are set to take low crosses into the box, which we are. So we'll be absolutely fine with that. And that is the team for this big, big season. We have to go and secure European football. And well, this season's start was the polar opposite to last season. Shocking starts in August, and then nearly going 3 months unbeaten. Unbeaten all draws in September. Then 3 wins in a row, a 2-0 against Brighton, a 5 against Ipswich, and a 2 against Newcastle, for just about losing 1-0 at the Emirates, and then beating Fulham and drawing to City at the Etihad. Now, there were certainly good signs this season, at least in the first half, but how did we do? in the second half. Well, actually, we done pretty well. And to be honest, we scored a boatload of goals in the second half of this season. Alisson down the right was fantastic. And Job, as that centre mid on attack, of course, was a goal-scoring menace. Alisson once again picking up the ball, finding Amatucci to find Jewison Benete, to find Gibson Adu in the box. I could tell there was a season coming up for him soon where he would grab a bunch of goals. And the third is going to come from that man who's just laid it off to Alisson, Jewison Benete, obviously full of speed, still at the club, and apparently full of goals. A 3-0 victory here against Leeds, and it was one of our best performances of the season. We absolutely dominated them, and that victory on one of the final days of the season was enough to secure us Conference League football, and the goal difference was there as well. And that Benete goal was in the 94th minute, and we got the goal difference by 1 against Chelsea on 56. We get 56, and Sunderland are Europa Conference League, which is unbelievable. Now, my goal in this rebuild is to win the Premier League, but why not try and pick up some European trophies on the way? And as we know from West Ham fans, winning the Conference League is making us European champions. Now, in terms of this season, goals-wise, we were much, much better. Joined with Manchester City, in fact, on 64. And defensively, no different whatsoever. Still down on 59, which I think is the exact same amount of goals as last season. But there was goals from a lot more places this year. Pafundi with 12, which isn't as much as I maybe expected, but still pretty good. Isdior with 12 and 4 assists, also double figures, and Joe Bellingham, 11 and 4 assists, also double figures. Alisson, a creative genius with 10 assists, is brilliant, and Chris Rigg still doing his bits, 4 goals, 3 assists. Gibson, Nana Adu, maybe not a breakout year still, 4 goals, 3 starts, 6 to the bench, still not unhappy, which surprises me a lot. He is going up a lot in stats though, which is so weird to see how much he's progressing. Big fan of him, I've got to say. Somebody who's not scared to be at the club and just be a rotation option. Jewison Benete also been really good this whole rebuild, 7.11. Has Job made his England debut yet? No, he's not, which is a big shame. He's been in our best 11 for 4 seasons. Oh, we just can't get him. He was player of the month for May. Player of the month, and he's not getting into the England side for May as well. Young player of the month for April. He has been on some fantastic form. Now, of course, we are in 2028, which means we are going to be coming up to an England World Cup or Euros, and Thomas Frank is the manager. Look, Jude, you're the captain and key player. Get him in this team. I mean, we can get Rice out, get Rice gone, and get Job in the team. I tell you, Anthony Patterson's the backup goalkeeper for England, which is cool. But it'd be nice to see a few more of our players in there. Elise, interestingly, switching allegiances to England is pretty cool to see. Unbelievable player as well. Crikey, what a player he is. But that is our best season yet by far. 8th in the Premier League. Knocked out in the FA Cup and Carabao Cup. 3rd round and 2nd round, both absolutely horrendous. But we're not too bored about them at the moment. We are going to win them at some point, hopefully. But you can see from the league positions chart here, we were just much better this season. Much more well-rounded. And as soon as we settled into the flow of the year, we were much, much stronger. Financially, we are an absolute powerhouse. We have unlimited money to go and spend, to be honest. But I don't want to go and spend like £100 million, but maybe we need to spend a little bit more to get to the next level. I do also understand, I have just done an amazing video, which was 10 million versus 100 million. I've also seen a comment on the Reading rebuild where when we got to a certain point, I should have allowed myself to spend a bit more money. I'm aware that I do like to stick to my guns with not spending too much money, trying to find bargains, but sometimes it's more fun to go and break the bank. And that's why I signed someone like Pafundi, someone that you guys probably would go and sign. He is a real wonder kid on this game, and yeah, it's brilliant. But I have fun finding weird players like Alisson or Amatucci. And yeah, let me know in the comments down below. Do you prefer the fact that I do the random signings, the hidden regems, or do you want to see big powerhouse wonder kids? I am actually really interested to see what you actually think about that, because that will help me massively in the videos over the summer, because I haven't done many like incredible wonder kid rebuilds because it's just not really my style. But if you guys want to see some and you want me to see me add more wonder kids, let me know, because I'm happy to go and do it. And this is kind of exactly what I mean. I've got out and signed Yang Min Hyuk. Now, if you do not know about Yang Min Hyuk, he is a young winger that's currently playing at QPR in real life and is really, really talented. He is very, very quick, great on the ball, determination and flair, that sort of passion he has got for the game. He's unbelievable and is a really fun player to watch. I'm a I'm not going to say QPR fan. I'm a United fan, of course, but I do like watching QPR. My mate's a QPR supporter. We go to a lot of games, and this guy's really, really talented, and he's been doing really well recently in the Championship. And this is one of the signings that I like to go and make with a hidden player that people might not know about and enlighten you on a wonder kid in real life. Well, here he is, Yang Min Hyuk. Keep an eye out for this guy. Next up, I suppose, is the sort of superstar wonder kid. It's Giovanni Quenda, signed from Sporting. Now, he's not made his Sporting debut at 21 on this game, which is absolutely ridiculous. But here he is, a £15 million signing, worth up to 82 million already. He's going to be quite good, isn't he? We're going to use him as a right winger rather than a right wing back or a right back, which I have done previously in a United rebuild. I signed him and used him at right back, which was outrageous. But using him as a right winger is going to be very, very fun. Great dribbling, great speed, decent flair, determination and consistency. And it's a more well-known wonder kid. And finally, the same probably goes for William Clem as well. £8.5 million Danish DM from Copenhagen. I think this guy's very well known. He's got good consistency, really well rounded as well. Just basically blues everywhere, which is awesome to see. And it does come into the team as that deep lying playmaker in the base of the DM position. And Quenda probably on that right wing spot, maybe rotating with Allison. Who knows who's going to play there. And Yang Min Hyuk is going to be a rotational winger for us as well. But obviously this season is Europa Conference League season. So all of these players are going to get lots of game time, which is very, very fun. And when it's a competition that I often say is the easiest competition to win an FM. So let's go and put my money where the mouth is and win the Europa Conference League. And we're going to cut straight to the chase because you guys join me in the Europa Conference League final against Zurich. And this game absolutely baffles me. I don't know how we've done what we've done in this game. It wasn't easy to get to this point where we were in the final of the Conference League. But once we got here, well, you're going to see the goals that go in. There's been 2 in the first half already. We move into the second half, and Amatucci is going to score an absolute screamer into the back of the net. Zurich aren't a bad side. I mean, a pretty big side as well in terms of stature in the game. They just crumbled in this. This is going to be 4th in 68 minutes. We're halfway through the goals in this game. And yes, it's going to be 8-0 in the Conference League final. Adu started this game up front, Quenda on the right wing, and Job, of course, in midfield. And Gibson Adu, well, I knew it was coming. He was unbelievable in this game in particular. Tom Roth with a corner, finding Dan Ballard in the box to hit the post of an open goal and then tap home for 6-0. Tom Roth on the ball once again down the left-hand side, finding Dean Hyson, who then whips it into Wilson Ijdior to find a screamer in for 7-0, and an 8th coming in as well. Now, if you guys want access to this tactic, I'm going to put it in with the Patreon file, which does go up on the Patreon. The link with that will be down in the description. It is £5 a month. It helps support me massively. And of course, you're going to get a fantastic tactic, as well as the rebuild file from the Sunderland rebuild. We're going to have some of the best wonder kids on the game, and hopefully a Premier League winning side. And we'll use in the tactic when 8-0 against Zurich. It's pretty damn good. And it also led us to our best point tally finish this season, while also playing a whole bunch of other games to get to the Conference League final and win that trophy. So 57 points, a -3 goal difference, which is something to keep an eye on, but our best points tally yet, our best season yet, and a brand new Premier League holder as well in Newcastle, which is awesome to see. Someone else going up and winning the title. Spurs bowled it again, and Leicester get Champions League football. Bit weird rebuild. Burnley, a team which were in Champions League, Europa League places, now getting relegated. Leicester, now Champions League. Leeds up in 5th. United finally back in Europa League. I mean, it has been quite some time. Yeah, 3rd, 4th, 12th, 10th. Now back up into 7th place. Fair play to United. But we are also Europa League, finishing in 8th, which is mental. I am very, very happy with that. And this season, we did see some great progression from some players. Joe Bellingham, we're going to click on him in a minute because I really hope he's got that England cap. Profundi, 15 goals, 7 assists, is starting to come into his own for us. But someone that certainly is Gibson. 12 starts, 24 off the bench, 13 goals. If you've never used this guy, go and find him in this game. I don't know what his actual potential is. He starts at Unterchang in the 3rd tier of Germany. He's an absolute bagsman. I really like him. Big fan of him. Great stats, 5'9", extreme consistency, great speed. I'm looking out for him in future rebuilds as well. No Germany cap, I did see. Allison, great game, for great season for us. 9 assists, 8 goals. Wilson Ijdior, 20 goal contributions. no France cap just yet. Probably not going to happen for him, sadly. Quenda, 7-7 in his first professional season. What a player, and what a signing that has been for just £13 million. Tom Roth, 6 goals, 15 assists. Not capped for Germany just yet, which is sad. Chris Rigg, 5 goals, 11 assists. His best season in quite some time. Not quite in the England team. And Joe Bellingham, not quite in the England team. I bet once again, absolutely smashing it in terms of the awards. Conference League Player of the Season, runner-up. Conference League Young Player of the Season, he won it. English Team of the Week. Player of the Month for May. I mean, he's literally breaking records, being incredible, 23 years of age. And Thomas Frank is not giving him a look in. Has Patterson played any more games for England? 19 caps. Woo! We've got the England #1 at the team. That is absolutely fantastic. Jimenez, 2 caps for Spain, so we got him in there as well. Dan Ballard, of course, dominating for Northern Ireland. He is our captain. I would imagine the captain for Northern Ireland as well. He is, which is awesome to see. Trey Hume as the vice as well. Big Dean, no caps for Spain just yet, but progressing really well. Clem, of course, caps for Denmark. And Pafundi, caps for Italy, 13 and 3 goals. I mean, it is Wonderkid 11 season, which is great to see. Has he got a cap? No, he hasn't. Fair enough. But yeah, unbelievable. I am I'm having actually a lot of fun doing a Wonderkid rebuild. I have to do the Moneyball or the hidden regens, but just going out and finding the best real life Wonderkids has been really, really fun. Financially, we are £160 million to spend. And I think we just have to go out and do it again and bring in some more players. I am keeping an eye out on our youth academy as well. We have got this guy come through. Gabriel Chinedu, 20 determination striker. Potential maybe isn't quite there, but we shall see. He might get to being an absolute baller. So I'm keeping a strong eye on him. He is playing for the England under-20s as well. So must be very, very good. 70 games non-competitive. 44 goals, 28 assists. That's not too bad, is it? Let's be real. He's pretty damn good, actually. So I am keeping an eye on him as well. But let's get into Season 7. We're now a Europa League side. I mean, the sky really is the limit for here. I've also just clocked. We're at a Sunderland rebuild, and we celebrate a Newcastle Premier League win. If you're a Sunderland fan, I'm very, very sorry for that. This season, I went for just 2 regen players. Number 1 is Edson, a highly talented Brazilian centre-back. And number 2 is Belgian left-back Luc de Smet. He is the starting Belgian left-back, and he is absolutely fantastic. He's going to rotate with Tom Roth, I imagine. Tom Roth potentially going to start over him, let's be honest. But really, I don't want to change too much. I'm potentially switching to a 4-2-3-1. I'm going to see how we get on. If not, drop back into this 4-3-3, and we'll go back into this formation. I'm just going to test it out for the first few games of the season and see what happens. But this midfield 3, I think, is fantastic. And it's been great to have Bellingham in the team for this long. I just want him to get to that England cap. And now we've got the England #1 as well. Surely it's not a reputation thing because Patterson's the #1. So frustrating. He's winning so many rewards as well. So we'll have to see. Kind of out of my control, let's be honest. Season preview, now 13th, so a big improvement over the last couple of years. I'd like to tick off a Carabao and FA Cup this season as well. And of course, the Europa League. As I said, we're not really looking to win the Champions League in this rebuild, but it'll be great to be in it next season and for Season 8. And of course, winning Europa League is always going to be fun. But it's certainly our best performance in the FA Cup yet. We get to the quarterfinals, but sadly lose to Manchester United, a club that we will be seeing very shortly, because they are in the Europa League with us and finished in the top 8 with us. But we won the league phase, 24 points, a maximum with 20 goal difference, which means we're flying straight in to the round of 16. We faced up against Ajax, and believe it or not, the first leg was a 0-0 draw away from home. Apparently, we get to the Stadium of Light vote, and the goals just start flowing once again. Giovanni Quenda down that right-hand side, Joe Bellingham. I mean, Thomas Frank, what are you doing? We're playing in red and white as well. I mean, you must love watching us. He's an absolute bagsman. Get him in the team. Would win Euros and World Cups. Isdior grabs a third. De Smet and Amatucci then link up to the left-hand side, but Amatucci finds Chinedu in the box, who has been promoted to the first team this season to grab the 4th in this game. And Dean wins the header, drops to Job. A ball through to Chinedu once again, who grabs a 5th. Now, we haven't spoken about Chinedu yet. We didn't speak about him too much either because I didn't know how well he was going to do. Well, this season, he has moved up into the first team and his potential has skyrocketed. He is now a 4.5-star potential player, a 3-star credibility player, played 10 games, 12 for the bench and scored 5 goals, and 2 of them coming in the Europa League in just that one game. That did, of course, mean we were flying into the quarterfinals of the competition, and we narrowly scraped past Porto 3-2 on aggregate. And then we absolutely battered Borussia Mönchengladbach 4-1 on aggregate to set up a final against Manchester United. And while we couldn't have got off to a better start in this game, playing in our lime green kit, Chris Rigg found Tom Roth to grab a screamer to kick things off against David Raya in the Manchester United goal. But literally just a minute and a half later, Mbaye finds Mason Mount to find a great ball through to their wonder-kid striker, Leo Cabanez, to make the game 1-1. Which then sent us all the way to extra time. We're in the 113th minute. Wilson Isdior gets on the ball and finishes into the back of the net for 2-1, the third goal in this game, before giving a penalty in the 120th minute, which set out penalties. And Dean scored the first, sending Raya the wrong way, when Moliero stepped up and missed. That secured the Europa League final for us to get a victory, and we were European champions once again, back to back, the Conference League and then the Europa League. Maybe we'll see 3 seasons in a row would be absolutely mental, but you never know. It could be possible, but that is a great, great competition to win. And Bellingham was at his best season yet. 14 goals, 11 assists, but no England caps. I've got no idea. Maybe it's just his brother, like, keeping him out. Maybe his brother's in the year of Thomas Frank, like, nah, don't get him in. We can't have 2 Bellinghams. It's Scott Parker. Oh, my God. I mean, he should be able to see talent, surely. We haven't won a Euro. We won a Euros? Have we won a Euros? Have England won? Did they win the 2028? And I called Thomas Frank out that whole time. No. They won the 2024? They won the 2024 Euro. We didn't vote, did we? We didn't vote, did we? We got to the final and lost. And I was in Spain. And we are fuming. Not for the game, to clarify, I was on holiday, which made it even worse because it ruined the holiday. But this season's Premier League was, not great. I say that, 50 points is still fairly decent for us. The interesting thing here is certainly our league positions. You can see when we were challenging for the title at some points in the season, easily challenging for top 6, top 7 for most of the season, and then it just dropped off a cliff. It is literally just 9 points from here to 6th, so I'm not angry about it at all. I think we are easily the 5th, 6th best team this season, and I do think with a bit of a fall off from some teams, there's a Premier League trophy right around the corner, especially with the growth for some of these players. 21 goals now for Fundi as the striker. We did switch back into the 4-3-3. The 4-2-3-1 wasn't really working. Wilson Isdior 15 and 9. Bellingham 25 goal contributions. Quenda with a bunch as well. Dan Neal still doing bits for the club. Chris Rigg still here. 5 goal contributions. No England caps for him either. Big Dean at Spain. No Spanish caps for him just yet. Gibson at Germany, I suppose. Probably hasn't got any, has he? He hasn't. And Giovanni now has a cap and a goal for Portugal, which is cool. And Wilson, not yet. 24 goal contributions, nothing is crazy. Yang Min Hyuk is doing amazing. 50 games this season, 2 goals, 11 assists. That real creative genius we needed in the side. So very happy to have him. The 2 South Africans as well. Mokele is really, really good, still progressing very, very highly. And Charlie as well. And Gadget is still a 5-star wonder kid. He is just 21 years of age, so still doing bits. Ayodele is still here as well as the backup striker, so he's still knocking about. And Patterson, England's number 1. What a legend. What a hero. But Season 8 is up next, and we are in the Champions League for the first time. And I also think there's a good chance, with the right summer, we make a push for the top 4. So that right summer consists of just 2 signings. Number 1 is one of the hottest prospects in world football. It is Desire Doué, who is just unbelievable in this current PSG team with Luis Enrique. And I'm signing him to potentially replace Wilson Isdior on that left wing, because this guy has been so fun to watch. Now, sad for Aston Villa, of course, but Doué, watching him, obviously I only really watch him in the Champions League. He is such a talent, so I brought him in for 56 million. And then I spent £20 million on the best young right-back on the game. It is Ryoto Hosokawa, a 20 determination Japanese right-back coming in. Everton had him for 2 seasons. They made stupid money on him. I wish I found him earlier in the J2 League as well, where he absolutely cooked. But now he's here. And he's absolutely fantastic, let's be real. Both-footed, great stamina, great work, great determination. Up and down the pitch, whipping balls in is exactly what we need. He comes in that right back position. I think he starts straight away. De Smet was really good last season. Dean and Ballard. Edson, potentially DM. Also potentially Dan Neil, Bellingham, and Rigg, of course, in midfield. Quenda, Doué, Pafundi. I mean, that is quite some team, isn't it? That front three, and then that midfield too as well. It's unbelievable. I absolutely love this team. We've had so much fun. We're, of course, in the Super Cup this season, FA Cup, Carabao Cup, Champions League, Premier League, and I hope this season is a good one. I think we could have a year of serious progression. And we started the season in elite fashion. We won the Super Cup, beating Barcelona thanks to goals from Amatucci and Wilson Isdiol, and were unbeaten in the month of August. In September, we were knocked out of the Carabao Cup early, losing to Fulham, but got one over them next up, beating them in the league. We beat Aston Villa, we beat Leeds, we then lost to Arsenal, but beat Leicester, beat Burnley, beat West Ham, beat Forest, for losing to Manchester City, who were going to be a real rival of ours last season. And last season, they got 98 points and won the league. So that probably shows how much progression we've really had. This season, we were an absolute goal-scoring menace. And this is a game against Liverpool. Quite a good team, right? Or are they going to get absolutely pulled pillar to post by Sunderland? A penalty to kick things off, a corner for number 2. Isdiol then linking up to the left-hand side to eventually find Alisson on the right-hand side for 3-0. And the fourth goal coming in the 60th minute. Amatucci, great control on the ball. Luke De Smet, Isdiol spins his man, bottom corner. To see an actual Sunderland player like Wilson Isdiol doing this in the Premier League is outrageous. And he's had a great season. I mean, what's that? 25 goal contributions in 39 games as our winger this year. 269 games, 83 goals. Has performed at a 6.89 average. And has been absolutely fantastic. I'm a huge fan of what this guy has done for us. Obviously an unreal season in the Championship. Step up to the Premier League has taken some time, but this season was absolutely mental. He hasn't got a France Cup yet, but it's not over yet. Or is it? Because our second half form was unbelievable. We went unbeaten in January, apart from losses in the FA Cup and Champions League, before heading in to February, where we won every single game in the league, including a great victory over Arsenal. We beat Salzburg in the Champions League knockout playoff round there, and also beat Spurs in the round of 16 knockout playoff round in March, beating Burnley 5-1, putting 4 past West Ham, and 3 past Manchester United. We then drew against Manchester City at the Etihad, before then losing 6-2 to them in the Champions League, getting knocked out of that one, but beating Chelsea, Birmingham, Newcastle, Forest, Spurs, Southampton, and Palace to finish off the season. I mean, that is a winning every single game other than drawing against City in the second half of the season. That's absolutely mental. And we have actually won the Premier League as well. Unbelievable season, 90 points. Just a point clear of Manchester City, and Simona Pafundi second place to Erling Haaland in the goal scorers charts. But we were top of the big one, the points tally. And the rebuild is going to finish here, but we're going to go through pretty much every single player and check out their progress for this rebuild, because it has been an unbelievable rebuild. 90 points, 40 goal difference, 3 draws, 6 losses, 29 wins. And Sunderland are your Premier League champions. Newcastle won it in 29, Sunderland in 31. That is unbelievable. Now, of course, we didn't win the Champions League, FA Cup or Carabao Cup this season, so there is still a sort of level to go. If you guys do want to pick the save up on the Patreon, a massive thank you to the legends that have signed up recently over there. And if you're signed up full time, you're an absolute legend, so thank you so much. This was our final team. Patterson in goal, Husakawa at right back, De Smet, Huijsen, Ballard, Edson, Rigg, Bellingham, Quenda, Doué, and Pafundi. Doué this season was a very good signing, 9 goal contributions, more of a rotational player, but what a talent, and you can have so much fun with this guy in your saves. Quenda is a fantastic right winger, now a starter for Portugal. 20 assists, just a few this season, and has progressed so much since being with us as well. He has progressed mentally really well, good physically as well. He's really super quick and technically really gifted. Pafundi, I don't imagine we'll see too much growth from him, to be honest. 41 goal contributions this season is crazy. He is wanted by Juventus, so you could take £100 million Not that you really need it because you have 159 to go and spend. But you could take that and have some fun with signing a brand new striker. He's got up only 1 in his composure. I didn't think he'd go up too much because he was great when he joined us anyway. Bellingham, no caps for England. Oh, that's so frustrating. 13 goals, 9 assists. Unbelievable in this rebuild. So fun, a Joe Bellingham rebuild. Honestly, what a player. Up so much in mentals and physicals. What a player he's been. And Chris Rigg as well. Also no caps for England. 12 goal contributions this season. To be honest, probably potentially time to move on from him or drop him into that deep line playmaker role and try and get a real serious midfielder in there to try and win the Champions League. But again, progression rise. This guy, since the age of 16, has been playing, and you can see that in his mentals as well. Such big growth from him. Dan Ballard is someone I want to touch on. Obviously, captain of the club, absolute legend. Progression has gone up. A fair bit mentally and physically, but not much technically. Just a really good player anyway. So good to see that. And Dean Hyson as well. Still no caps for the Spanish nationals team. And doesn't really grow too much on FM, to be honest. But we know what an absolute talent he is. So good to see him progressing. And finally, Anthony Patterson as well. England's #1. What a legend. He is the only player that broke into that team. Growing a lot as well. What a talented goalkeeper he has been. But that is the rebuild. A Wonder Kid rebuild with Sunderland. We have won the Premier League. A massive thank you for watching. I hope you have enjoyed. We're going to have a 10 million versus 100 million pound rebuild coming out soon. But the next rebuild is a very, very fun one where I look to break every single record with Rangers. So make sure you subscribe to the channel to see that one. I'll speak to you guys next time.